Cool. Sounds good.
Countdown in
Tom, you're live there, brother.
howdy. Welcome, folks. Played, but we're gonna get there. Welcome to the stream. We got some exciting Call of Duty coming at you. I'll be man. I hold shift, and Proper is gonna be here as well. We've been talking, as you guys know, but how you guys doing for the folks?
Doing well, man. It's good to be here. It's been a long time coming. I know the Challenger scene has been itching to get something like this going for you guys. So, of course, it's a pleasure to be here to be able to give you guys some of the content. I know maybe not as much as some of the players want, but hey, we're starting off on the right foot. We've got a really good grand finals matchup here going on.
Exactly. Oh, my bad to jump on you real quick. But Proper, I'll get it in a moment. I want to let everybody know what we're going to be doing. So, as I said, we're going to be focusing on the Challenger Series. Last week in Atlanta, we saw the Call of Duty League hit their grand finals, and so we're going to take a look at those. It's going to be the Challenger Series, like I said, Atlanta FaZe Academy taking on UYU, and I know you were there, Shift. Were you there at all, Proper?
For the opening weekend, or
yeah, for the homestand.
I was not at Minnesota, unfortunately.
No, I mean Atlanta though.
Oh, Atlanta? Oh, of course. Yeah, no, I was in there. I was trying to roar with the crowd and trying to get them as hyped as possible. It was a really good time. It was a really nice venue and a great event.
Hell yeah. I mean, that's my, well, New York is home for me, but Atlanta's been here. I'm an ATLian for like 5 years. So I like the city. I like the crowd. What'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, it was exciting to see. I think just the difference. You know, I was also in Minnesota. I know Proper you weren't, but there's the difference of the environment, right? It was all about FaZe Clan, bringing together their influencers, their streamers, their content creators with not only their professional, but of course their pro-am, their semi-pro academy team here. Very, very excited to see like the difference in dynamic between the two of them. A very exciting time and a lot of things that will be coming forward. I think generally speaking, for all the other teams to look back on and say, how can we do it right? Atlanta definitely put up a good show.
How about you, Proper? What was your experience there?
Well, I mean, for me personally, I thought it was just over the top, great experience. You could tell that they went all in for the fans too, just making it as great as an experience as possible. I mean, you walk in through the front doors, you have 4v4s going on, 2v2s happening all throughout the entirety. There's tons of different side events going on throughout the entirety of the weekend. Not to mention fantastic merch as a offer as well. I got the Atlanta FaZe logos shaved in the side of my head. It's no longer there, obviously, anymore, but it was still just a nice little add-on for me personally.
Excellent, man. Yeah, I think those shows, those fans are really cool. You know, with the move to the new system, with our regionalization of the teams and everything, homestands, you know, we've seen it in other leagues, but check it out what the Call of Duty League has been able to do has been really, really cool. It's been a lot of fun kind of watching the top level of competition. And now we're going to get into just below there, the challengers. These are the teams that might be tomorrow's superstars. Let's take a look at our two teams that are going to be playing today. It's the Atlanta FaZe Academy versus UYU. All these guys kind of have put their name in the sand, so to speak. UYU with the exact same roster that they've brought since day one, which is actually a really big deal here with how much influx that these Pro-Am teams can really be. And then across the way, Atlanta FaZe Academy, these guys have changed some things here and there, but they're two strong players, two-way guys. Gravity and Journey really make the backbone of this team. So take a look at the matchup proper. I'm going to let you talk first. The floor is yours. What spikes your mind?
Well, for me personally, I think experience definitely comes to mind when you're looking at the Challenger Series as a whole. Teams spending a lot more time together, perhaps having a few more strategies up their hand. Definitely going to be a spectacle to see. Gunplay is always going to come to mind. So I think when you're looking at these players individually, going back to FaZe Academy for Gravity and Journey, having the trickle-down effect as the two-way players, could expect a lot to come out from those two that could really bring a tough effort to UYU coming out on top of this grand final.
Yeah, I mean, for Atlanta FaZe, again, you mentioned it. It's Gravity and Journey. Of course, both of them have World Championship experience when it comes down to, of course, Journey playing with Heretics last year and Gravity played with Sage. But the big story for me is looking at players like Spart, Sibilance, and, of course, Jimbo. Spart and Sibilance in specific, this is going to be their breakout year, especially for Sibilance, who just turned 18 in February. He's one of those players that a lot of people had their eyes on going into this season. So that's kind of the two players to see, can they, ride on the laurels and kind of ride with the experience that is already built into this roster. But, I mean, you mentioned it, Tom. UYU, they're one of the only teams in North America to not make a roster swap after Minnesota. They finished 6th there, so not exactly the performance they were hoping for after they had done so well in the 2K events previous, but they obviously are feeling some favor, going back, recorrecting some of their mistakes, and I think they start to realize that, hey, if we stick together and we continue to get better over the course of the year, we'll be in a good spot when it comes down to those major prize pool events later down the road.
Sometimes you got to stay together for the kids. That synergy is a big deal here, and UYU certainly going to be banking on that one. Looking forward to the match before we get into the details. What are these squads kind of known for? When we look sort of up, when we look at New York, when we look at Paris Legion, we know what these teams are kind of known for. We've seen these guys play in different iterations. When we look at Atlanta FaZe Academy, for those newer to the scene, what can we expect out of these guys?
I think
for me,
go ahead.
I was going to say, for me, it just, Search and Destroy needs to be, I think, the strong suit for both of these teams, but for different reasons. For UYU, you stuck together. Your Search and Destroy, you should be able to figure out. On the other side, for Atlanta FaZe Academy, you're dealing with a couple of, up-and-coming players that have lived in the Search and Destroy wager world. So when it comes down to individual performances, I think you need to find that experience just playing an online tournament for Atlanta FaZe Academy. But for me, for UYU, their Search is going to have to be what gets them through this series, I think.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Again, the team that sticks together could end up having those tricks up their sleeves. So I guess off the back end of that too, I'm almost expecting for all of their respawn to be right on point as well. FaZe Academy are definitely going to have to combat it against a lot, but like Shift was talking about, that individual gunplay could come into effect.
Well, let's that's a look at each one of these teams. Let's take a look at where they're going to be playing. Obviously, 5 maps, and we're with Hardpoint. We're going to go to the Cave right away. Then we'll visit St. Petro for S&D. Hackney Yard will be Domination. Petro again for a Hardpoint. And then one more Search and Destroy at Ramaza. Now, you guys are talking heavily on the Search and Destroy, but let's start with the respawn. Looking at Hardpoint here in the Cave. What can we expect here? Who do you think is going to get the upper hand right away? Proper, let's start with you.
I think it's really hard to judge. I mean, especially for hardpoint, you have a natural 50-50 split over top of the middle. It all comes down to spawn starting out on top. Who can end up forcing out that Covenant spawn? 2 Cave East, 4 P2. You can get what I like to call a swing point. You can get in lockdown a solid 40 plus worth of time inside that zone alone. Expect a little bit more of longer range. MP5s can be very pressured into the caves as well, but the M4 definitely rates supreme here.
Yeah, for me, this is interesting because you look at this map series, it is important to note that it was UYU who sent FaZe Academy to the losers bracket in winter semifinal, and our first 3 maps are completely unique from what we saw in that best of 5, which it went all the way to 5 when these two teams previously matched up. So for Azir Cave, neither of these teams have really been tested on up until this point. Last played most recently was by Atlanta FaZe Academy. They were able to take a 250 to 149 over Recon 5. So again, I think you hit it properly though. Proper, easy wordplay there. But the simple fact of the matter is that you mentioned it. The MP5s usually have a little bit more of a difficult time getting going, or at least having a major star influence. So you're really looking at to see, can the ARs get set up? Can they find themselves good lines of sight? And can they shut down those rotations in order for you to move around the map a little bit more freely? Because it is difficult to do just from the presence of an MP5 player.
Right, like you said, we're going to see those longer range engagements kind of starting out there. As far as the middle of the map is Proper was saying, that's going to be where the majority we're going to see towards that mid game. So it's important to get that early foothold there, and we'll kind of see which one goes that way. But as we kind of move into this game, I want to get your guys' last impressions before we hit the battlefield. When we take a look at this, we mentioned different approaches to search and destroy, different approaches to hardpoint. Screw all this conversation. I want you to put your money where your mouth is. Who's taking map 1?
Andy, I'm going to let you take that first.
Of course you would. Of course you would. Naturally, have the co-caster to put their other co-caster in harm's way first. Yeah, I'm probably going to end up giving this over to UYU very naturally. Again, the team that sticks together could typically come out on top together, and where MP5s in that solo play can be diminished on Azir Cave, I look for the team that's been sticking together all the way through. Like Shift said, came back in 6 in Minnesota, maybe not what they were looking for, but learning what they have coming through Azir Cave and through this tournament alone, I expect them to walk away with map 1.
Yeah, I'm actually in the same boat here, simply due to the fact that up until this point, UYU has only lost a single hard point, and it was on Petro. They've done very well when it comes to what they've been able to do at long range, specifically in hard points. So I'm excited to see if that's going to continue to be the case. But, on the other side of the coin, just to play both sides, for Atlanta FaZe Academy, you need your young guys to really step up and really kind of change the tempo and the pace. We expect them to play quickly. We're hoping that will indeed be the case here, because that's going to be, again, one of their biggest linchpins of success, you feel like, going against this UYU squad.
Sounds like you guys are both on the UYU squad team. I'm going to toss my hat for Atlanta Academy. The journey is going to be a big part of what these guys are going to be able to do. With that said, I'm going to let y'all jump into it. Shift, Proper, take the cast. It's going to be game 1, Atlanta FaZe Academy, UYU.
Thanks so much, Tom. Appreciate it very much. And, Andy, we've seen a lot of these players on individual levels, but will we get a chance to really kind of learn a little bit more about this squad as they go forward? Again, for Atlanta FaZe, we know that they're not impartial to making swap-ups on their rosters. For UYU, you kind of feel like you got to find some success here. Not necessarily to win all the way through, but you need to be able to make a show of it, because, again, they weren't, I'm sure, happy with the 6th place finish at Minnesota. Now you're fighting for top 2, and you kind of feel the anticipation that they really want this championship to make sure that, hey, this 5-man roster is the 5 we need.
And on the winner side, nevertheless, Alan. So, I mean, when you're looking at that side, there's a certain amount of buffer, maybe some comfort, perhaps. There's a lot of different things that you could be looking at as we are finally here. Azir Cave, 50-50 split right over top of the center. And right off the bat, you can already see that UYU, they are spawning on the right-hand side, which could pay off if they hold the spawns, but already entering into the hill is AF Academy. And, well, if they play their cards right, and they have this player that is on top of where the B-Dom normally resides, they could get spawns in their favor for P2.
Yeah, this is going to be a big set of rotation here just to see if they can make their way through, like you mentioned, because UYU is already set up. You see a couple players already in the cave system as it is, and now you go over to the middle of the map looking from Zyral's point of view. He's just watching everything to make sure nobody pushes through the soccer field. So you got to find kills, and you feel like you got to do them relatively soon here for AF Academy. Granted, they did find themselves 22 seconds worth of hill time on the center platform there in the caves. But as we get over to it, again, UYU should have no problem regaining the lead here. A good setup for them, and they will retake that lead quickly, 25-22.
Yeah, AF Academy trying to force their way through cave. The UYU are being very smart about this. And not only were they able to soak up some of the scrap time on a P1, but they were able to hold the spawns on the cave east as well. Spotting in and around the cobble is going to give you a lot of dividends to be paid off for P2. You can already see the lead growing past 22 points here for UYU. Now the biggest thing comes down to this 25 seconds left into P2. You're gonna have to start rotating out to the soccer fields. You already have a player for AF Academy residing over by the cliffside. They're already starting off and setting themselves up wonderfully for the soccer field. This could be hard for UYU to break on through, but at least they have the buffer from P2 to play with.
Yeah, this is going to be a big moment here for Journey in specific. He's trying to walk down this rotation. He's going to find himself a couple of kills, nearly able to find himself a third. Will be taken down. So UYU, now they've gotten full scrap time, nearly already to 70 points. The soccer field opens up, and it's Kev Infamous, who's already on the hill, at least finding himself some contest, if not some extra generation. Smoke will give him a bit of cover. The rest of UYU is actually reinforcing this from behind, so you got to find a couple of kills here if you're FaZe Academy, and they're just not there. The kill feed turning up mostly red. Good trades in favor of UYU. Now the reinforcements of Zyra will come forward, but the kill feed again, just the angles locked down, and we mentioned it at the pre-show, all of it assault rifle base. And again, for FaZe Academy, that's got to change sooner rather than later.
You want to get your break in from afar, try to really start encroaching your way. I mean, especially through spawns that AF Academy were playing with, or in and around Spiral, you do have a Godheady that you could be playing around with, but that scrap time is going to be thrown away if you're AF Academy. You can't be flooding yourself in and try to come out on the opposite end, and spawns will end up flipping as UYU will start to push forward. Say AF Academy all spawning towards P2 on the east side of the cave. We're about to be moving over to P4 here momentarily. Shift, that's on the cave west side. UYU have a fantastic setup so far. They have the rotations to come through. Last time that we saw this was on AF Academy's side, and they got absolutely run over by UYU. And let's see if AF Academy can answer back in kind.
Infamous will be the one up front here, kind of trying to hold off this initial push for FaZe Academy. Sibilance, he's the one sitting down with his AR close to this table, but he's not fully set up yet. Spart looking for a mini pinch. He'll actually open things up. That'll do well for FaZe to at least break in for the initial contest time. But now for UYU, you've had all this AR pressure, but how do you contest this cave west? You can already see there's one player making a full rotation all the way for the P5 spawns, and there's still tons of time to play for here. So for FaZe Academy, it just comes down to, will they read that UYU will be spawning out behind them close towards where that second hard point was? It looks like there is at least some idea of that as they're starting to make their way back over towards this cliff path. And with a couple more seconds left to go here for the scrap time, we'll be looking at right around a 20, 30, 40-point game in that park, as well as just a 40-point game. But again, you talk about how hard it is to come from 4 to 5, and that's going to be all on Atlanta FaZe Academy to try to break on through.
And they're all getting spawns over back behind sandbags to UYU. They have the favorite spawns. They can continuously put another AR into that big broken window to where you can get a lot of sightline privileges all the way past a hard point. Sib trying their best to get a break. Will only be able to get 2 before falling down themselves. Pentagram's right here for the cleanup. That kill really needed to come through, but Spark comes out on top of it. Just needs to get a few members onto the point and to back them up. Spark's going to try to soak up as much time as possible. Still dealing with all of the spawns. You take a look at all of the X-ray red across the screen. They're all actually going to get wiped. A good break for AF Academy, and they're going to really start encroaching on this lead. But UYU, although they have the buffer of the lead, they can start setting up for P1. They have some of the spawns to be able to do it. AF Academy are forced to get scrap time.
Yeah, but they don't really have the setup to at least contest that spawn trap from P5. So they're going to have to do this from essentially right on top of the hill, unless a couple of kills could go their way. See, Pentagram will be holding the initial time for now. Looking over towards yellow, he'll find one, but immediately trade it out as Jimbo and Journey will combine for 2. Most of that coming from the garage side. So again, a little bit of a southward hit here for AF Academy. And Jimbo continues to watch the long rotation. He's not even really interested in the hill whatsoever. This is where Atlanta FaZe could definitely make a comeback if they could tie this hill one into the second, but easier said than done. It will be a pinstriped kill feed, but still that's not bad for UYU, who have freed up a couple of players to start moving not only through the cave system, but you also got one in M. Ruiz who's sitting out towards the bridge looking for a spawn flip as we get to the last 25 seconds worth of hill time here in our first point.
But UYU, again, they go ahead and just rinse, wash, and repeat exactly how the 50-50 split started at the beginning of the map here, Shift. They have spawns again for P2. They already have members set up on there, and much like how the P5 and the P1 just went, AF Academy are forced to fight for scrap time, so now they have to flood into either angle, set up a pinch. They're already losing some of the kills coming through. You see the kill feed still swinging in a pinstripe favor, but UYU are still coming out on top of it. Every single time that they get wiped as well, the spawns should be relatively near. They're getting spawns from the B-Dom site. And this is a great hit coming in from AF Academy. Now they can start working their way into the point. And they have the sight lines on top of the sandbags and all the way through. You see Jimbo with Dead Silence hanging out on the back of the truck. Gravity's going to be able to put down that trophy system, keep themselves safer for the time being. And this is a really good break for AF Academy. They could really use it right about now.
Yeah, but they need to hold off this next push coming out from UYU. You see a couple trying to pinch around from the backside. The sandbags has been taken care of. Now you turn your attention to the front if you're AF Academy. And Sibilance, he's been able to find himself one. Looking for more, but how about this? Infamous finds himself a Semtex +1 off the MP5. He's got Smart in front, but that will actually be a double in response for AF Academy. And my goodness, Proper, they needed to hold that one, and they desperately were able to just nick and really kind of scrap their way through it to make sure they got as much time as possible. We'll be going to our soccer field again here, but it'll only be about a 30-point game. So for UYU, will you hold this off and continue to grow your lead? Or for the FaZe Academy squad, how do you break this to try to make this an even game?
UYU challenging to try to get some exit frags into the soccer field. They're going to end up losing the trades from the setup going into the soccer fields. They only have a few more members left. Journey is going absolutely off, as well as the rest of AF Academy being able to run over UYU. Flipping the tables here, Jimbo in a great power spot too. Team shots are right there too. Great snap around onto Rex. So the trade comes through. Infamous and Zyro able to find two onto AF Academy. This turnaround from FaZe Academy as a whole here, Alan, is very great to see. Not only do they get the break, but they're also being able to get the setup. And now UYU are forced to be able to set up for the long rotation over to P4. They already have two inside the Cave West position.
Yeah, and they get the scrap time here, so it's potentially a win-win situation for UYU, but it really comes down to what happens on this transition from this third hard point into that cave system. Sibilance jumping on board with him. He's trying to clear things up by lights. That'll do well. Nice little snap on, but won't be ready for the second as he was trying to put down a trophy system, and Infamous can't find anything in the short cave. So just like that, you mentioned it, UYU tried to get themselves a little bit of scrap, plus also trying to set up. It doesn't really go their way as far as the setup. So now for FaZe Academy, we're looking at a 20-point game, working their way from the hen house. It's a 50-50 battle right now. Gravity trying to change that. He'll find himself one, looking towards the short cave. Not going to be able to find the response kill as Ruiz will take him down. And just like that, UYU keeps the contest alive, plus they're generating just a touch of scoreboard participation here as well.
Take a look at all the kills too. I mean, Zyro 26 and 20, but Rex is at 31 and 22. There's so much value being found for UYU as far as kills, but you got to turn that into map pressure, and they are just doing so. Great shot from Rex. Going to be able to put them on a multiple here in this life alone. Set themselves up on the point, and now it's just going to come down to the respawn. Scrap time is going to be thrown away here for AF Academy. They're actually going to put a player towards the center cave exit to try to get a couple of exit frags, but this is a really good adaptation from AF Academy. Put yourself in power positions so that way you can set yourself up for the spawns, which they do have as well, Shift, because this P5 could end up making or break into the P1 for a third rotation.
Yeah, you cannot get broken here early if you're FaZe Academy. So what's up to Zyro and UYU to try to make that happen? Here he comes with the no-stock M4, able to take down one, trying to work his way through the cave cut. You also can see three members for UYU trying to work from the bridge. It's a split hit coming out. Can FaZe Academy respond? Zyro finds another goal for the pistol. That'll make it for 3. He's 29 and 23, but the work has not been done yet as Spart is able to respond with another double kill. Talk about him coming in clutch a number of different times so far. That was one of them, but the pressure still oncoming for UYU. It was a decent early hold here for FaZe Academy, but with shots like this coming up from Zylo, Rex, and M. Ruiz, the fight is absolutely not over, and it's only a touch of scrap time. So this is, again, not at all bad for FaZe Academy. They just need to get these opening kills, try to shut down UYU from touching early. Oh my goodness, Infamous, are you kidding me? What did you just do? He was able to turn and snap for a third, and with that, UYU will be the ones taking away the initial time of this town center.
Making me eat my words, saying that this game was going to be all about the M4s here, Shift. Well, the MP5s are still ringing on true. Break on through, be able to find plays like that, trade your life for 1 to 4, and that is a fantastic advantage for UYU. 221 seconds and counting up. AF Academy back against the wall. They have no choice but to continuously flood in here because of the amount of time left on the board. Shift, UYU can win it out right here. They are also getting spawns into Cave East as well. This is starting to look pretty desperate for AF Academy. They are spawning all out by Cave West. They have to keep flooding those shifts, and the kills are not going their way.
Oh, this is not looking good. Zyral, he was able to get a little bit of help. He'll jump on the hard point, but like you mentioned, if you're UYU, who cares about the scrap time? Get yourself set up for P2. Just win the game in the next 15 seconds. At least that's the goal. So for FaZe Academy, how do you make the comeback happen? This first push has to find some ground to walk on. Gravity and Spart able to get a couple of trades back and forth, but again, you need to touch. You need to do it soon. Here comes Zyral. just holding himself prone. Pentagram will find 2 kills as, again, this is a little bit of a staggered hit. 246, 247, 3 seconds left. Is anyone going to come close to touching in time? No, they will not. 250 to 192, the final here in map number 1. And again, it just felt like UYU was just ahead of the game when it came down to the rotations in specific.
But yeah, and you saw AF Academy being able to answer back in kind, but they got broken up way too easily there, Shift. At UYU, every time that they recognized AF Academy did get the early rotation, they got the spawns to come through as well. UYU just coming out on top. I mean, Rex breaking over top of 40 kills for themselves alone just goes ahead and speaks volumes to how easily they were able to find value with their AR. On top of the multiple MP5s, I believe it was 2 there for UYU, being able to trade their life for 1, sometimes 3, and then we saw there from Infamous towards the end being able to do the same. That only helps out your AR so much more to break into those hard points.
Yeah, again, it's one of those things that it really did feel like the AR presence for UYU was really controlling a lot of the tempo on rotation, going specifically from P2 to P3 a couple of different times. The middle of the map was just never in favor of the Atlanta FaZe Academy squad. And with that, it becomes difficult, of course, to not only get the initial setups that you want, but of course, to be able to even break when you don't have the initial setups in your own hands. So a very diligent job there for UYU to know exactly where they wanted to set up their ARs and make sure that the rotations were relatively safe for their SMG players to get into the hill and soak up some much needed hill time, which again, the OBJ time was actually relatively split there near the end between a couple of different players. But we'll be going to St. Petro for the search and destroy next. If we take a look at our map screen here really quickly to give you guys just a little bit of a recap as far as what our series set will look like. This is going to be, I think, the difference maker is the search and destroy. You're dealing with UYU, a very rehearsed and practiced 5-man squad that's been together since the first 2K, going up against this Atlanta FaZe Academy squad, which has just recently put this roster together. And again, you're riding off of the experience from Tom Gravity and Journey to see if they can find a way to utilize this young talent and Spart Sibilance to really kind of get some favor and, exfoliate what has been a long search and destroy career for these guys, now potentially looking to make a pro run out of it. You feel like the search and destroy needs to be a map that Atlanta FaZe has to be able to at least contest, if not take, if they want to have a chance.
I think that they can definitely hold their heads high walking into this. I mean, you go back to winter semifinal Shift. That was Arcitys peak. Yes, they were able to win 6-1 against UYU in that winter semifinals. So, I mean, maybe that could be a little bit more momentum heading in here. Something that you could wipe the slate clean after losing the hard point to UYU. But both these teams as a whole are 1-0 on St. Petro for S&D as a whole. So what I'm mostly interested to see, just like you said, Shift, for UYU, I want to see some more adept strategy coming out. Maybe AF Academy will be able to pull out some tricks from their sleeves as well. It's going to be UYU starting off attack first with Ruiz with the bomb. St. Petro S&D. Smokes are out for AF Academy.
Pentagram will be picking up the sniper rifle. First, he sees one at range. I believe that's Sibilance, who's trying to counter snipe, and he's going to get a second attempt after being tagged up what looked to be through that billboard right in front. Journey will find a favorite explosion onto Infamous for the first blood after a very unfortunate game of tag went between both of our snipers. Spart has an opportunity to find Ruiz. Will not get the kill, but gets a little bit of extra information with the concussion that comes through. So now, what do you do if you're Atlanta FaZe Academy to hold on to this? You just lose one of your players previously. That was Jimbo inside the hill, but you've got Sibilance with the sniper rifle. Can he make more use of it as he's able to take down Pentagram in the backside of the map?
Top shots coming through. Not being able to get the kill. Gravity being wise with this play alone. With the shots coming through, though, you know that AF Academy are probably realizing that this is more likely going to be hitting where it is. The bomb playing around here at A. But wisely so, AF Academy still holding off on flower pots. Gravity with a well-placed shot onto Rex. Making this a little bit more doable. You can't get in here. Body block the door, and FaZe Academy come out on top, finding the shots in a well-placed body block to the door. No entry.
It's one of those moments where you're like, I swear this door opens. It's not one of those environmentally blocking doors. And Spart just opens up the MP5 through it and says, nope, you can't come in. We're not interested in buying any of your cookies. So that'll be the first round in interesting fashion, going the way of Atlanta FaZe Academy. Gravity with the 2 kills, and Sibilance again using that sniper rifle. Pentagram going to stick with it, though. And I think for a lot of people, when you look at this map in specific, yeah, you want to see if you can get your sniper rifle going early, but a lot of teams lately have been swapping off of it just as they kind of get a feel for, what's their opponent is trying to play like. And there it is. Pentagram will get a very easy opportunity for the top half of Sib's body, and that'll be good enough for UYU for first blood.
Already peeking on the top of the kitchen, though. Jimbo, again, with these explosion kills, these environmental hat, but not so friendly kills. Ooh. The infamous, all that patience will pay off. We're on top of the beam bomb site, or dom site, rather. Be able to get that kill. Now it just comes down to Gravity. 2 left for UYU. Gravity does have the bomb, though. They definitely know where he's located at here in Useless, so 40 seconds to play with. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but UYU already starting to collapse in and around the A bomb site. Gravity's going to start trying to work their way around the car, though. Not being able to get the shots to connect. Well-trained coming there from UYU. Very easy cleanup. Evening things up, one apiece.
You know, it's one of those things when you come to, we've kind of learned with Modern Warfare Search and Destroy, how do you clutch big odd man situations, 1v3s, 1v4s, things of that nature? It feels like they're borderline impossible at times, but he had all the right things in the kit with one exception. He was not running Dead Silence. He's the trophy carrier for his squad. And that's the big key, especially with rounds being shortened by 30 seconds, you really need that extra mobility speed, not only because it gives you that small little boost, but more importantly, you can run around without anyone hearing you. And of course, not having that in the kit, not going to be available for him. So 1-1 goes the score. Opening shots from Rex right as we swap away. Sibilance wasn't ready to get challenged up close, or at least at medium range. So Rex with the well-trained shots, but Journey has been nasty on this side of the map. With this M4, we'll find a response 4-on-4. And how about this? Ruiz with the bomb for UYU still wants to go over towards B.
Definitely with that information that Journey gathered. Not a whole lot of reason for you to be hanging out in arches offensively, unless you're trying to gather the information. Definitely wanted that kill to come through. Couldn't get the gun up in time. And I like that. Disengage coming through as well. Just waiting for the hit to come through. Rex slowly creeping that door, smacking open is going to be enough information, but it's covering the exit. Jimbo's going to cross and check. Shots can't come through to get the kill for Rex. Now they're under pressure, going to wait for the regen to come through. Gravity's on the other side of that. Ruiz is able to find Spart. And it's been a nice little rotation coming through with Ruiz with the bomb. Now they're going to end up going back through the kitchen side, but these trades are not looking good for UYU.
And the clock isn't looking good either. They have to make a move, and it has to be towards A. Pentagram will assist by getting the first kill here, which will allow the bomb to be planted unless Jimbo he can find maybe something over the top of Pentagram, 2 trained in. So it'll be down to Journey for a 1v, technically 3, as he was able to clean up Rex. He has Dead Silence in effect for him, making the rotation back through the tram station into the backside, and he might just get some favorable timing if he looks up towards the window. He knows he has to check the apartment. He'll see if he can bait out some shots. It won't happen, and I don't think he saw the frame of that player up top in the window. He's got one area to look at, and it's Ruiz up top who will just shoulder peek and make sure nobody's defusing. Next up is Pentagram. Okay, that's one player down, and oh, wait, no Pentagram, he was cooking a nade. No chance. Pentagram was cooking up a nade, and Ruiz walked right back up to it. A little bit of unfriendly fire by martyrdom from Pentagram. Okay, so we have had ourselves 2 very interesting rounds of Search and Destroy with the no entry door, and now that interesting nade clutch.
When the kill came through on the Pentagram, the nade just dropped and slowly rolled down the stairs. You hate to see it. Not unless you're an AF Academy fan, in which case you definitely love to see that. Now they have 1 point advantage. They're on offense this time around. Love this power position coming through from Sibilance. Top of the tram station. Get a lot of information there, Jimbo. Expecting perhaps a Dead Silence push to come through way of arches. Journey's on the other side of that by the bar. However, it's a slow roll so far for the offense. Not forget that you start off with a minute 30 here shift instead of the 2 minutes.
Yep.
So you definitely want to not hesitate all too much, but you'll see a lot of teams wait for 30 seconds. No information gathering. They'll just try to go for a flood and on a hit all the way through. Gravity with the bomb, leaving Billiards. Start working their way around arches. They have players, UIU do, to scout this one out. Just a moment of when.
Yeah, the Infamous again is sitting up close. He'll actually find first blood. The push is still happening. You see Journey actually toggled the Dead Silence. Sib knows the player's close by, goes for the double peek. Will not get the opportunity to take the 1v1 gunfight. Over to Gravity with the bomb trying to enter into the hazmat building. Zyro will find his teammate, and that's an entry for Gravity to slide essentially right down and dolphin dive underneath Zyro. But meanwhile, mid-map, you see it on your mini-map there. Ruiz Infamous able to pick up 2 more, trying to cross through. So for Gravity, last player left alive, 13 seconds and 4 players to deal with. You don't feel good about his chances, and it won't come up as UYU will bounce back after, again, I'm still trying to recollect myself from that very awkward nade kill on his teammate. Things you hate to see. That's definitely near the top of the list if it's not number 1.
I mean, for as long as since launch of Modern Warfare, I definitely think that that's top 2, at the very least. But speaking of 2s, it's tied up 2-2. We're gonna have to see how any adaptations come through. Definitely watch your cook nades and where they roll if you die. Oh, that's a very hard tactic to do. Rex with a bomb. Seems to be a little reprieve from the scopes to this round. And from the previous, too. UYU gonna go for a setup this time around, not peeking all the way through arches. Journey, been talking about shift. Been really good here over by Lions in the ambulance. Blocking things down. It's gonna start cooking up a nade. Not gonna be able to get any information off of that, though AF Academy will. That's gonna be shots being traded out there. Now just a little bit more patience here from UYU. Just trying to get information, see if they can get a pick. And start rolling on forward.
Oh, look at the spot here from Sib. He's just waiting for someone to come out of these doors, but it's Zyro who actually gets first blood over towards the Riverwalk. So Sib says, I'm going to challenge this. Dead silence in effect for him. He's going to roll up right behind one, looking for potentially a second. He might get the opportunity if he looks left, but will not actually check it. So right above him is Infamous, but unfortunately the rest of his teammates at A have fallen. So Sib versus the world. He's done things like this before, but has to go up against the bomb plate. He's going to get a lot of information from there. Wants to challenge Rex. We'll see the right kneecap take that off. And now it's a 1v2, and it's absolutely doable. 35 seconds. Dead silence has been essentially reset due to those kills, and he's looking quickly to see if he can find these last 2.
Player inside broken. The other player here, Infamous, rotating all the way through as well. On the other side of the door, oh my, imagine. Magic gets the 360 snap. Would have been absolutely wild, but we've seen things happen before in that nature, especially from siblings. Won't end up happening. Having the mates back there, Infamous, not letting Ruiz go down. UYU be able to take the lead back here, and you definitely love to see the conviction coming out from both these teams on offense, especially around that 45-second mark. You see this from a lot of teams now. Shift now we're down to 1:30. Again, down from 2 minutes. Seems to be the sweet spot to when you just hit the go button, unless you get a pick first.
Yeah.
AF Academy on offense, favoring to go into Cafe's side. They're going to be going in on a mission all the way through the top Cafe. Jimbo finds Infamous, won't be able to get their Infamous first pick from that power position. That just means that Zyro has to rotate all the way around through this little double door tunnel. All the way through the smoke, too. Take a look at what the bomb is, too. Gravity's getting incredibly close. Is now working their way towards the hazmat building. But the rotation's here for UYU. They just have to set up properly here and stuff the bomb to be planted. I love this
FaZe Academy. They very well could be just wrapping this back over to A. I'm not sure if there was a player mid-map who got the information. Ruiz in a world of hurt currently, just trying to stay alive. Journey again, locking things down at range. He's going to be the last player left. Rex, he's the only defender here for UYU at A, and he's got the world of AF Academy walking right in front. He's got the opportunity for one, but the shot's just a touch wide. Looked like he caught mostly arm rather than body. Ruiz very quickly coming to help as fast as possible. Pentagram was able to find one response kill. That's actually over the mid-map. So if FaZe Academy is not fully hitting this, Siblings with nearly an opportunity for 2. Bomb is going to be planted here. And it's just down to Gravity and Spark, but they do have a favorable bomb timer in their corner here. 37 seconds to play, and UYU is going to look to maybe wrap this, as Pentagram number 5 is already putting himself right outside the tram station. Spark watching the flank is at least in tune with this, kind of, but the timing might just be a little bit off here.
Spark gets a much-needed kill, evening things up. Rex and Pentagram versus Gravity and Spark.
Oh, this is so
14
smart.
seconds left. Gonna go ahead and try to stick the plant here. Do they check it in time? Spark comes around just in time. The team shots were there regardless. Now it just comes down to Rex. Can they make the play happen? The time is already exhausted fully. Rex does get the kills, but it doesn't even matter. We'll give the final kill over to the bomb, and oh, not even. Wow, survived that.
EOD,
yeah,
by the way.
That's a very strong vest there. Wow, absolutely needed. FaZe Academy, though, evening things up. 3 apiece. Back and forth we go.
Yeah.
Much different from their first S&D back in winter semis, Oracle F Peak, where AF Academy won 6-1. Love to see the adaptations coming from UYU. It's just by way of putting themselves in power positions and being able to just allow AF Academy to walk right into their sight lines.
It almost also feels like here, Proper, that Pentagram, maybe the team as a whole, is not confident in their setup. He's used 3 different weapons now. Started with the scope, went to the AR, now on an MP5. Not a lot of aggression coming on the back end of this push, though. So you're wondering, when is the goal call going to come through? Here it is. Jimbo first in line will not even put a bullet out. as he gets absolutely dismantled by 3 players. Zyro watching the flank will take down Spart, who was trying to get a cheeky timing along the back, but will not be awarded a kill. Sib, he'll find one in response. The bomb has not been planted behind this push, and you kind of feel like maybe there's a missed opportunity here for UYU as they look at a 45-second timer now.
Sib, you see flashing through the X-ray. That's dead silence. Multiple dead silence being used. Journey's pushing through apartments. Ruiz can't hear that one coming through. Sib is able to get the kill on the Zyral as well. And, well, that bomb not being planted as soon as the picks came through. It's going to come back to bite them in the rear as Sib comes back for 2. Gravity peeking through the window, finds Rex, and now it's just down to Infamous, the 1v3. Do you have it in you, bud? I'm not entirely too sure. The regen is not going to be able to come through in enough time. Challenges it. Won't be able to get the kill. And FaZe Academy take the lead back, 4-3.
Yeah, and again, just weird moments in there. We talk about Pentagram pulling out the MP5. They get the surge that they want to into the bomb site, but again, what are you putting those MP5s to use for? They don't go up top into the apartment complex. You saw Ruiz was trying to get there, but got tagged up, and they never really fully committed to clearing the second floor, nor did they push through into that little back archway where Sib was able to find a couple of kills. So I won't say that they were completely trapped up in that A bomb site, but goodness, it sure felt like it at times. Yeah. And so now for FaZe Academy, with a 1-round cushion, they'll be on the offense. And how about this? 4 players making their way over towards the B area, towards this mid cafe. And the only player here is Infamous, who has had his number called a couple of times so far this game. But last time he put himself in this position, he didn't find anything. Fortunately, he's got help from Zyral. That was actually from the hazmat window for first blood onto Sib.
Have multiple players looking around buses. You see Ruiz around that part, as well as Zyral working their way on top of the little balcony outside the hazmat building. The Gravity with the bomb started rotating back, trying to get some information. UYU have played this so well. They keep 2 rather, over by bomb site A. As rotation still comes through from AF Academy, from the players that don't have the bomb, this could be a bait and switch, but UYU have scouted this out so perfectly. Pull the members back onto flowers, put them into the flower pot over by this market, and you're going to be able to really stuff AF Academy's attempt here. They're down a 24-second shift, and they are able to find some kills to march on forward. You know that the rotation has to come through quicker than later for UYU. Zyral in a world of pain. Gonna wait for the regen to come through.
They have no idea. Sparta's in the cubby hole. They have no idea where he was. Fortunately, Zyral at low HP will find a pick. Now it's just down to Gravity, and he will find the kill right over the top of the planted trees.
Wow.
Oh, but I thought for a second there where Spart was in that back corner where you just saw Gravity found that kill. Spart was hiding back there and nearly almost lined up 3 UYU players coming out of A. But not the case here. It doesn't make a difference, though, as, again, that was as much of an advantage as Atlanta FaZe Academy needed. 5-3 to score. And my goodness, we talked about how FaZe Academy really needed to, find a little bit of presence here in the search and destroy just to throw their weight around the rink. And my goodness, have they ever. You've got 2 players at 7 and 5. Sib also having a great performance. Spart, he's at 6 and 7. The only player who's not at or close to the positive or even is Jimbo, but he's been a really good entry man, just to at least get some information. So it's been a really good, solid effort here for FaZe Academy.
I believe Pentagram might have ended up pulling out the sniper again. Though judging by their position, I would not be surprised. Top of that station. Good defense so far from AF Academy. 3 over by A. 1 all the way back towards the CDOM site over behind B. Just waiting for the rotation to come through. And this could be the scout of the century as UYU look to push through arches. Though Pentagram getting the first blood here. Actually has an M4 in hand. That's a well-placed shot onto Sib. And that's a powerhouse down for AF Academy. Now the rotation comes through. AF Academy trying to run over here as quick as possible. Shots coming through on the opposite side of the bus stop. We'll be able to get the kill. A little bit of a reprieve, though. I love this rotation from Ruiz, but you got to know that there's going to be a player or 2 watching that side, and not being able to fully commit to the other side towards bomb site B allows Spart to find their way on the backside of Hazmat and get traded out by Ruiz.
That's a big pick for Ruiz. Pentagram still working over towards the B side. It's just down to Journey, former Heretics member, trying to line up 2. Will not get the chance to get the gun up, though, fast enough. Pentagram 10 and 7, 3 straight. UYU numbers and presence at the bomb site at B. Able to battle back and give themselves a 4th round. Now 5-4 the score going into round number 10. And again, big play from Ruiz to open up that riverside just by having a little bit of a cheeky jump onto the top of that little emergency tent and kind of catch the player outside a little bit off guard. And that was enough for UYU to get the favor of the B bomb site.
This is the scary part. You don't want UYU to get the momentum. Pentagram's at 10 and 7 now, shift. 8-5 for Rex. 3-player positive besides Cyril. So it's 6-8. Infamous at 1 flat. Academy to keep their feet below them. Going to be throwing out some bullets between the smoke. We saw a hit marker or two potentially, but nothing out of the realm that is typical for players going inside apartments where you see Rex currently residing at. Strong defense so far for UYU, covering their bases just in case a rotation from the cafeteria comes through. So hanging out inside the billiards so far. AF Academy just potentially waiting for a pick. It's Sib, actually.
Yeah.
AX50. Potentially looking for a pick. Though no players from UYU giving them any sort of room to find said shot.
Yeah, but knowing Sib, he's been able to do things like this. It kind of reminds me of Formal of last year in Black Ops 4 from like the gridlock bathrooms. He's not afraid to take a scope into close quarters. Sib's the same way.
Ooh.
Just a touch outside. We'll get a second chance. Goodness.
Another
Frisky
chance?
are you? Pentagram is just dancing with the devil. And apparently he paid his dues because he wins that battle. Will eventually be traded out, but that's a big threat down in Sib with the sniper rifle. 20 seconds to play. Rex, he's been scouted, and Jimbo lines up a headshot, and immediately past that, Gravity will go ahead and plant the bomb. Spart will watch the main archway, and for UYU, you got to find a way to break back in, and you only got 2 players to do it. A 2v4, 35 seconds to make the play, and it's going to have to come out of the apartment complex.
Love this spot so far for Spart, though. Bomb has 29 seconds before detonation. Jimbo finds the head of Ruiz. And now comes down to Infamous, who's already so low on the top of the apartment. He's going to try to break on down. Won't be able to get the job done. 6-4 will be the final score here. St. Petro, S&D, going in the way of FaZe Academy.
Man, I'll tell you, this is, you go back to the early rounds, you talk about trying to break open the door of the apartment building. Why isn't this opening, guys? Someone help. Someone call a mechanic. Get some WD-40 on these hinges. And then you've got the little bit of an unfortunate martyrdom, that rolling nade that ended up taking down Pentagram. If those 2 rounds maybe go a touch differently, especially the latter of those 2, if that nade kill doesn't come in, do you potentially see a round 11 and, you know, see how things go? But regardless of the matter, Atlanta FaZe Academy just outpacing and really getting to a point where they're putting themselves in control, it seemed like. You know, talk about Infamous. He's holding by that line a couple different times defensively. And after the first go of it, Atlanta FaZe Academy said, all right, let's just make sure we check that angle. And they don't really have a problem with him in that position, at least from there. So you're opening up options. And that's the biggest thing, you know, from Atlanta FaZe Academy that I noticed. We'll take a look at our scoreboard screen real quick as we go into the halftime here, tied up 1 map apiece after the 250-192 on Azir Cave. It was the 6-4 bounce back for Atlanta FaZe Academy. And, well, Tom, you know, we've been able to sit here and take a look at this one very back and forth so far. But are we really surprised? Because it was very back and forth when they played each other at the winner's semifinals.
It really was. It was kind of reflective of the gameplay that we saw there, but something interesting that I think differed from what we expected. So game number 1, that's what I want to hit real quick. Game number 1, we really expected it to be a lot around that center point, but it wound up being all around soccer field, and the MP5s were a little bit more important. And just like game 1, game 2 was wildly different than what we expected as well. We went in there expecting UYU, the team with all the synergy. Search and destroy is rarely where that sort of camaraderie really comes out in full display. Well, guess what? Atlanta, it took them almost all the rounds, but it wound up being Atlanta FaZe on top.
Yeah.
So whenever you get thrown a curveball, that's one thing. But when you get 2 curveballs on top of it, I mean, what happened that this is so wildly different from what we expected? I know a lot of people in the chat are talking a lot about like online versus LAN. Is that the difference? The fact that this was at LAN as opposed to just online?
I personally don't think so. I mean, none of these players are unfamiliar to playing, you know, offline, you know, playing in a local network, you know, with Sibilance. Yeah, he's new to the Challengers path to pro scene, but he's been at a number of local events. I don't think any of this is unfamiliar. I think, you know, if we're going to talk about familiarity, you know, for FaZe Academy, for me, it comes down to if things are not going your way, are you able to have the coordination, the synergy, the camaraderie to know who's going to do what when, and just kind of have that be second nature? We saw a couple of strange things happen with FaZe Academy during that map 1. And kind of like we were talking about at the end of the cast there, Andy, we were saying that, you know, FaZe Academy looked like they were mostly in the driver's seat throughout the majority of that search and destroy round, it felt like.
Yeah, no, Search and Destroy felt very clean from FaZe as a whole. I mean, again, you had Jimbo finding tons of explosions across the land, tons of card explosions, and being able to
That
turn that
helps.
into kills. It definitely helps out knowing where those detonates have to come through. It was pressuring out UYU continuously. Not to mention how UYU were offering them a handful of rounds. I mean, just to break it down even further, that UYU were on top of First Bloods, but FaZe really held the lead, not only to win out the entirety of S&D, but that should speak volumes as to how much of control they were able to come away with, especially, again, UYU coming out on top of First Bloods, but FaZe still coming out on top of the rounds.
So we'll go deeper in a little bit once we get back from break. But what I want to get is just a little bit of glimpse into the future. We were all kind of wrong about everything. So do we expect things to kind of go in that direction, or do you think things will get a little bit more as we expect once we come back?
For me, it's going to be Hackney Yard for the domination that's up next. And both teams have played a lot of it in this tournament so far. 2-0 currently is how UYU is sitting, but it's 3-0 for the FaZe Academy squad. The only difference maker here that I'm looking at is the fact that the domination was dropped by FaZe Academy last time these two teams played. So will they be able to kind of get themselves moving? They did have a little bit of a close battle in the losers semifinals on this map, but for FaZe Academy, you also played it in the losers final. So you've got a lot of experience playing this map in the last two matches. Both of them were wins. And technically speaking, if you're looking at score differential, the edge tilts in favor of FaZe Academy, who hold a 46-point differential compared to the 26-point differential in score that UYU has. If you want to really kind of get into the nitty-gritty numbers side of things, that's what the statistics would say. But again, I think it just comes down to, like we mentioned, can this FaZe Academy team find adaptations mid-round against a team that, again, previously beat them not too long ago?
That's the question that only the gameplay can answer. So we're going to go to a brief break. We'll be right back with the grand finals of last week's Atlanta FaZe Call of Duty Challengers. We'll be back after this. Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to our fantastic broadcast. Shout out to everybody out there in chat. And of course, shout outs to my two fantastic analysts. I hold Shift and Proper. We are back in the building. If you're just joining us, first of all, thank you. What's up and how you doing? Second of all, we've got two games already in the bank. What we're looking at is last week's fantastic gameplay between Atlanta FaZe Academy and UYU at the Challengers Open at the Atlanta Homestead. So with two in the bank, we're split down 1-1. Alan, talk to me. We mentioned how you got it wrong. What do you have to say?
I did get it wrong. I don't. Well, I think we all synonymously said that UYU was going to have the upper hand in the Zero Cave Hardpoint, right? Can we all high five for that real quick? Just
I got it right, so I'll high five to that. That's cool.
Nice.
Yeah,
okay, I like
said
that.
Atlanta FaZe. I don't know.
Oh, all right. Well, okay. Well, two of us were right out of the three. But I think, as we come to the domination, I think my biggest cause for concern here is, generally speaking, the adaptations. Again, as we look at Hackney Yard, it is a very chaotic map. It's no secret. Everybody knows that spawns are wild. Let's not even dance around the bush. We know that spawns are going to get crazy. So can Atlanta FaZe Academy, with these two younger guys, again, very fast-paced players, by the way, will they be able to take that in stride and turn that into their favor? For UYU, we've seen that they're very calm and controlled when they're able to set themselves up with ARs. Can they flip the switch now and up the tempo to play at the same speed as Atlanta FaZe Academy want to? We know they're going to want to play very fast-paced for Atlanta FaZe Academy, and that's my biggest thing is, A, will they do it properly? But on the backside, can UYU match that tempo or at least stall them from going away with this map too far?
Well, before I let Proper kind of get in here, we saw UYU make that adaptation at Azir Cave, right? We expected to see these longer range engagements. AFA kind of turned up the clock, and then UYU were like, all right, fine, we'll fight more around inside and we'll fight more around the soccer field. And they were able to really make that happen with those adaptations. So going into domination here, one, it's a wildly different game mode, and Hackney Yard, like you said, I mean, chaos is numero uno. So I think as far as pace of the game is concerned, UYU proved that they're going to be able to do that. But can they handle the chaos, which Atlanta FaZe Academy kind of already has kind of claimed as their own? And Proper, that's why I look to you.
Yeah, I think both of you have opened up points quite wonderfully. It's tons of questions that I'm very excited to find the answers to, but going off of what Shift had already said, the pace for FaZe Academy is going to be quite fast. And I think if you're comparing that to UYU there, Tom, it's mostly comes down to just how fast they were able to break up the very awkward setups that AF Academy found themselves on from time to time. Not overanalyzing that map, what you could be looking in a Hackney Yard is weapon comfort. For Hackney Yard, like Shift was saying, very fast-paced team for AF Academy. This is where their MP5s can shine on through. UYU, again, have to match on up to that. You're looking for Pentagram to step up for that case when they pick up the MP5 to not only control the OE if necessary, but they're able to find those power positions. I'm talking about top L, top office on that OE. There's a multitude of positions for these MP5s to shine on through.
Yeah, great commentary there real quick. And I'm sorry, Shift, go right ahead.
You're good. I was going to say, both teams undefeated. So someone's going to lose their first map here when it comes to Hackney Yard Dom. That's all I wanted to throw in the mix there. So someone's got to break.
and we're going to look past that to St. Petro Hardpoint. 1 cent in each, because I want to get right into the action here. Hardpoint, St. Petro. How are you expecting it to go, Prosper?
Well, I mean, for St. Petro, again, for Hardpoint, you're going to have a lot of power positions more than necessary, depending on where the hit has to come on through. You're looking at top kitchen, even top hazmat. Those windows could be quite necessary to take control of for a powered AR. Alliance is also there for MP5s, depending on where the setup all the way comes through. At 50-50 over P1 could definitely spell for a lot of different cases. I think if you're looking for Landed Academy to clean things up coming in from Azir Cave into St. Petro, a little bit of the similarities for weapon loadouts are concerned. When you get those rotations early on, you have to take those power positions away from UYU and don't give them up so easily.
Shift, how about you?
Well, I'll say, first of all, that was way more than one sentence. And my one sentence would be AF dominated this UYU squad the last time around 251-23. Stats speak for themselves.
Listen, Proper here, elongating with the commas and the semicolons. We're going to get into the full action. Game 3, Game 4. Shift, Proper, it's all you.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it, my man. And it's going to be interesting. interesting, I think, generally speaking, is see what the SMGs are going to bring forward here, Andy. I mean, you mentioned it in your thesis there at the end of that little breakdown for St. Pedro, but for Hackney Art, it's going to come into the place here as well. SMGs are going to be massive. That's going to be the biggest key. Well, starting things off, it will be FaZe Academy from the A side of the map, already making some good progress here at B. And with this, you can see UYU all over the map already. So again, can they get themselves back together and hit something as a full 5-man?
Yeah, UYU, they did have Rex, number 7, that just died up in top office. Will actually spawn in the back of the police car over there. Didn't get the spawns that they wanted to control the OE as AF Academy just take the warehouse by storm, get the kills more than necessary, and now UYU are spawning out. Good AB control so far, starting off on the good side of the map for AF Academy. And this is one of those power positions that I'm talking about. Pentagram trying their best to break it on through, but Spark gets the snap more than necessary. Pinstripe kill feed so far. Look at these spawns coming in for UYU. They're coming in closer towards this useless building. They want to try to break into A, but they're not able to get the kills. Jimbo is standing here, the guardian of A.
That is a beautiful response from Atlanta FaZe Academy. Pentagram was the solo player looking to make some attention come his way at B. He finds that double kill, and he essentially says, all right, boys, move on in. Get yourselves over to A, and Jimbo says, not so fast. So with that, mostly held together was that push from Atlanta FaZe Academy, but now they're the ones spawning out by the office and have to make a quick corral to get back over to the A flag. Infamous not able to find the follow-up kill to secure the A flag, let alone the spawns. So it looks like for FaZe Academy, they will bounce back, but some decent pressure so far for UYU. The big question mark for me is, what do they have to do from here to make sure they hold that pressure and get a flip of the map?
Well, now you have Rex being able to go on a tear, along with Infamous. Big kills coming through here for UYU. Now they're able to take control in and around this warehouse building, but take a look at the spawns. You said about how crazy it was. How about AF Academy now spawning in and around yellow? The half map has been overstepped by UYU. So now spawns are going to be on both sides of the warehouse. Now you have UYU retaking the spawns for yellow, but AF Academy are adjacent to them in the office. So these kills are not only going to be able to help them out, but they're going to be able to get the spawns close enough to keep their A flag intact. You can only imagine. It's just one player over there. It's Ruiz. Sib is able to get here in time, gets the shots available. And now, well, Spart as well cleaning up Pentagram. All is lost. UYU barely able to control on the B for a time being. Rex has to make this play, and it has to be impactful.
No, Rex will come right over the top of the AC unit, but Spart will shut him down. And talk about the young guns here. Spart now 7-4, 3 straight, making the solo play currently at B. Who's next? As he asks, the concussion will come to the top window. He'll get some help to make sure they can secure this B flag quickly. But you also talk about Sibilance with a massive double and triple up to make sure he was able to hold down the A flag. Now Spart through the smoke. That'll be 4 straight for him. Looking for a 5th up top, but UYU will take the reprieve, try to set themselves up and give this another good go.
UYU, again, off that respawn, they're going to just go ahead and try to flood in through bottom and top L. You have one player working their way through the mid-scoop, able to get that 1 kill. I believe this is going to not only be Pentagram and Zyral trying their best, or Pentagram and Infamous, excuse me. They're both going to go down mid-map, and this push has been absolutely stuffed. Spart's not going to take this power position. They are going to get a little concussed. They get the shot, too. Spart now 7 straight, 11-4. They're looking to make it even more so as well. This power position, what with the hip fire onto Pentagram? Get out of my face.
And now this is the exact right play. Hit the dead
my
silence,
God.
find yourself a 9th, young man, and get yourself a potential neutralization of the C flag. He's gonna be double chelled. Oh boy, don't do it. Don't you dare. Oh my goodness, Pentagram almost got absolutely dunked on, but at least saves the day for now. But look at the scoreboard. We're already into the second quarter here, 1:15 to play, and it's a 16-point lead for AF Academy. But the work is not done here yet for FaZe Academy. They have to deal with the pressure coming back through this office side. A lot of heroics there for Sib and Spart, and it looks like those two will duo up for a couple more kills. Gravity looking for a kill into Pentagram, who will try to solo neutralize maybe. He's got some help, though. Ruiz coming to save the day, and that's actually enough for UYU late in this first half to get a flip of the spawns.
Now they're going to have to be able to make as much of this work in their favor, though. Still kills being traded off. Journey has a very good power position, finds 2. Zyral standing on top of the car will be gunned down. Rex soon to follow, but look at the kill feed. Big wipe coming through AF Academy. Looking great here on domination shift. And, well, Sib in particular, along with Spart, have been absolutely running and gunning. 18-4 for Sib, 16-7 for Spart. What an absolute massacre they're able to find as far as kills are concerned. Again, an almost clean wipe to come through. Infamous is able to bounce back for 2. but this lead has only been growing even further. And let's not forget about how the spawns are going to be starting off on the next side. UYU will be starting off on a shift, but with this OE pressure and the amount of control that the MP5s for AF Academy have been able to hold, there has to be some drastic changes heading into the second half for UYU.
Okay, here's the good news. As far as drastic changes, UYU will spawn on the favored side next time through, but if you're playing the counting game at home, UYU only flipped the spawns at A once, and I think in a lot of people's minds, you might argue that they only flipped them half because they only captured the A flag. They never actually got an AB hold in that side of the map, so you really have to do some recorrecting, but you talk about, again, the presence of the SFGs. Spart is 19-8. 15-14. Journey has more interactions than just about everybody on the map, but I wouldn't say that necessarily because you also got Sib, who's sitting at 18-5 with an AR. So there's too much pressure. That's a cheeky little last bullet into Jimbo, as UYU will start off successfully by capturing A and B, but more importantly, they hold off that OE push from the office.
Fantastic kills coming through too, and they get the spawns into office. So now AF Academy, if they read this properly, they just have to start flooding into B, but they have to get the kills as well. Rex is in a very good location holding mid. Now be working their way up to top L to where they can really be a pain in the butt here for AF Academy. There's going to be 1-2 as all the flood comes in for UYU. You're going to be met very casually here. There is one player around B trying to work their way out. Journey trying to break on through, trying to make a play happen. Unable to do so, but it's going to be able to allow the rest of AF Academy to start pushing on forward into B and maybe potentially breaking on through mid to get the OE that they need. They have to start working their way over to A. You can trap UYU onto B for a short time, but these kills now going in the favor of AF Academy. This is what the break that they're looking for. Zyra was right there to stuff it right back in their face.
It's just a little bit too individualistic for my taste here for FaZe Academy. If you're going to try to break through the warehouse, again, you saw it, Journey just dove out of the doors by himself with his teammates not even set up top window yet. And that just, again, it's 30, 40 seconds or so. You would probably figure that UYU were just able to find a couple of tradeaway kills, put themselves in a position to now where they're only down by a handful of points. So this game, neck and neck we go. Jimbo will find 1+ a teammate. So again, FaZe Academy, who's really kind of throwing all their chips at the B warehouse, they're not seeing a payout yet. So now it just comes down to, when do you change up this strategy, or can you do something to hit this together to break it through? But so far, UYU looking absolutely stalwart. How about this little play from Infamous? He's going to walk all the way around the backside. There's one. He's got a second to his left. Didn't see Sib, and how about that? Sib will actually turn it into a double of his own.
22-9. 2 straight on this life alone. Gravity in a very good location here in top L through the staircase. Won't be able to get the shots to connect. And that's going to be quite unfortunate. That could have been the play that they needed. Not a full cap going through on the B thus far. AF Academy still needs to capture out that one. Getting CB would definitely be looking for, but Jimbo almost got the turnaround for the knife kill. Rex is going to be able to stop that one in play. But they need more. They need help coming into B. But how about this shift? They get the spawn flip that they need. And now there are no players for UYU onto A. They're actually going to dedicate a player UYU do to get the spawn flip onto C. They're actually going to commit to this, and AF Academy can really turn this into their favor.
This is a really big mistake here for UYU. You just can't go for a flip right there. You were still fighting 1v1s and 50-50 battles in the warehouse. You have to definitively get a kill feed before you can try to get somebody out in an island to make that swing happen. And for FaZe Academy, they absolutely punished by flipping the spawns around, as they got a little bit of a fortunate spawn by office, but they commit. They all move towards the A flag, and, well, you're seeing the results speaking for themselves. It is about halfway neutralized on the B flag here for UYU, who now find themselves down by 2 points. 1:50 to play. We're in the fourth quarter. Explosions, nades, tacticals all being used. Pentagram by himself. He's going to win a big gunfight, and Spart will be the last player left in the warehouse as he's able to find Rex. So now Ruiz has to come on forward and try to contest this. But can you get any help from your teammates? You see them trying to push over towards the office. FaZe Academy will stop that dead in its tracks, and now they're cutting off the rotation from the yellow spawns.
That's right, you have Jimbo and Sib over by the smokestack. Now Sib committing themselves over top of the smokestack, finds one into Zyral. You see the spawns for UYU coming in the backside of office on the other side of the CDOM side. Greatly played there from AF Academy. Spart was able to play their life out.
Oh, what a cheeky spot.
Journey, like you said, cheeky spot is able to turn that into the headshot onto Zyral. And this map pressure has been absolutely taken away from UYU. AF Academy are running away with this. Point blank, why not?
Oh no, Journey's now on 3 straight. He's 26-21. Potential to find a fourth. Zyral was ready for it, and fortunately Rex wins a gunfight earlier to get a neutralization and potentially a secure 144-136. Final 45 seconds. Rex, he's playing behind the door, and he gets figured out by Journey. Oh my goodness, he's been playing so clutch. And will that be the decision? Will that be the decider in this matchup? 147, 141, 35 seconds to play, and UYU's been wiped off the map.
And this is just troublesome now. 30 seconds remaining with now an 8-point lead. You're almost looking for anything, especially the neutralization onto A while you're committing onto B. But that was supposed to be player number 7, Rex, to make the godly play through
That's
center.
over.
Gun down, and like you said, Shift, mathematically impossible. AF Academy with 2 maps straight. They're able to take lead in this series. And map 4 is on the horizon for them.
Oh man, Rex 15 and 28, Ruiz 15 and 26, Pentagram 16 and 29 as Journey farms a free kill. But
man,
we framed it up, and again, it came down to would this UYU team be able to play at the speed of FaZe Academy? Again, we mentioned it. We saw these guys play this map. Well, we didn't see it, but they played this map before. Or at least when they played Domination before, it was very heavily in favor of UYU, 186, 118, but that was on Gunrunner. That's a totally different world. So far as from what we've seen, as far as the history of this tournament specifically, Hackney Yard Dom has been played twice and won twice by UYU, but the scores, 166, 156, and 150, 148. Definitely not their best domination map. And well, that's Atlanta FaZe taking a little bit of capitalization there and putting themselves up 2 maps to 1.
Yeah, you almost have to think that the pressure might be getting to UYU. You definitely hope not. Again, coming in the winner's side, definitely don't want to be playing around with that buffer, perhaps of a bracket reset into a second grand final shift. That would be quite devastating for UYU to go up against, considering that they were able to beat FaZe Academy in winners semis. So with that being said, too, you definitely gonna want to be looking into this hard point headed on forward for them, and just hope that you're able to collect yourself properly heading into this. Again, it's going to be St. Petrograd, so perhaps some of those powerful positions that we saw on S&D might be able to come on through all the way back in a hard point where the ARs were finding a lot more pressure onto AF Academy. Could be where they find their value, but those SMGs, man, from AF Academy on Hackney Yard are something to write nightmares about.
Yeah, and again, 250, 123, the last time these two teams played here in favor of UYU. You kind of feel like a map 5 might just be imminent as we're ready to go here for map number 4, UYU. My big concern, though, is simply the fact of, again, SMGs. It's all close quarters combat here. Will they be able to pick things up? Not the greatest Hackney Yard Dom performance from the upfront SMG players for the side of UYU. For FaZe Academy, though, we talked about their presence on Azir Cave being a little bit slow on a couple of key rotations. No more important on any map mode combination are rotations on hardpoint with St. Petro as you go from one extreme side of the map to the other. Then opening set nades coming out for FaZe Academy, but nothing connecting as UYU look to put themselves in the apartments.
Why is it so going to be keeping one player AF Academy up and around billiards, waiting for the OE to come on through? 2 players for UYU committed to that 50-50 hit over top of P1 in and around the apartments. AF Academy come out on top of that. But this is what I'm talking about here, Shift. Much like on Azir Cave, big kills coming through. AF Academy able to find those kills, let alone Pentagram is still alive inside Tram Station. If they're able to hold this, though, Shift, you can get a couple of spawns. You get one coming through from mid. They end up getting gunned down. But now the recontest has to come through. Don't want AF Academy to get too comfortable here on P1.
They're pretty comfortable currently. 25 Indeed. Points and a couple of tradeaway kills, as it's just been pretty much a giant favor in the kill spree here for Atlanta FaZe. There's only 5 kills. Make it 6 now as Pentagram finds one. But for UYU, you're just not killing anything. Infamous is 0-4. Rex is 0-3. What are we doing? We're solo hitting right now a couple of back spawn areas looking for a flip of the spawns. But again, there's still 6 seconds left. And FaZe Academy is going to walk away with more than 50 points on the first hill.
White tail to be taking a look at now. UYU, they get the setup. Well, if you go back to Azir Cave, this is exactly how AF Academy looked in the P2. They got the setup. Now can UYU hold the line? Will they get run over by AF Academy? Journey has a very good position here, though it's going to get exploded out. All of the Semtaxes galore is going to get Journey up and out of that door well. Now, AF Academy getting severely wiped now. Power position for Rex here in Arches. All the spawns for AF Academy are into billiards. They're going to look to recontest this. 30 seconds left into the hill, and I don't blame them, but the only problem is that you have Rex already rotating past Lions, past Hazmat. They're looking to spawns into P3.
Yeah, but I feel like if you're FaZe Academy, you got to deal with the players that are already in the hill anyway, so you got to hit this one more time. Okay. Not exactly sure how Spart dodged through some of those bullets, looking like he just came right out of the Matrix. Sid able to take down 2 more kills on the transition, and now this is the moment for FaZe Academy. You're going to soak up the scrap, but what do you do to take away the pressure from mid-maps? Pentagram is the big player in the way. He will find 1 kill in the Jimbo and put himself right in the mix, but careful here, Ruiz got a little bit too far forward. Will now make his way back, but he's been scouted out. Will try to keep his life for as long as possible. And this is a great start here for UYU. They've contested so much space, but Pentagram has to deal with 3 players, not able to find the first as he was tagged up by a nade. And now it's on to Atlanta FaZe to break this from the Riverwalk.
Ruiz is going to get gunned down too. In the mid side, it's going to allow the players, more importantly, Jimbo, to work their way around that alley side. Is able to find Pentagram.
Nice.
Could be the break that they need, but Infamous is still on the point. Living, sustaining, dead silence, push coming through. Infamous for 2. Finds Jimbo. Now Infamous 4 straight on this life alone. They're at 6 and 10, and this is definitely the wave that they are looking for to be able to make the long-lasting break, take the lead in this hard point, and send AF Academy spawns all the way over to Billiards to where P4 will be residing. And if you're AF Academy, you have to look at the scrap time and make it just that. Just scrap it away, chalk up this hard point. They're backing themselves up to help them into P4, but again, it's going to be UYU
Pentagram
out on the rotation. Pentagram's all the way inside the kitchen back there, Shift, over by P2, trying to get the spawns to their advantage, maybe even looking for an entry frag.
That's a little bit of an over challenge there from Ruiz. He needed to keep his life. Rex will find the trade. Pentagram goes out, but he was looking for a little bit of a backdoor play, hoping to sneak his way into the spawns. It won't happen, though. 84-86. AF Academy currently in control of the billiards room. It's going to be on Gravity to hold things down with Spart from the hard point. If they even get there, Jimbo's top blue. He's going to find himself 1 and a second. He's on 3 straight here, just watching everybody come out of what was previously that P1 in the apartment complex. Pentagram can't really convincingly move in. Jimbo finds more. He's on 5 straight, and someone has to deal with the presence from the blue square. UYU are just funneling in like lemmings, and the SMGs of AF Academy are feasting off that rotation.
Pentagram really needs to continue to have the breakout performance that we saw at the beginning of this hardpoint shift. This time now will be scrapped up for AF Academy. See UYU trying to rotate back in around arches. Gonna be a full reset of hardpoints into P5 here right after this one shift. We are inside the restaurant. And it's a really good setup so far. Infamous has been existing in these hardpoints, has been trading out their life for 1, if not 2. Infamous, good shots there on a Gravity over by the ambulance now.
Oh, no way.
Way up into the stairs, won't be able to get the kill. Spart is able to find 2 after pulling out the pistol on to Infamous. And now it comes down to AF Academy just to hold the line here into P5. The lead is growing exponentially in their favor.
This is so much time for FaZe Academy. You got to find a way for UYU to break on through. Will it happen here? Infamous trying to make it work. Zyral also here to assist on the push. 24 seconds. The hill getting contested currently. But it just comes down to this back flank out of the backside. Zyral turns and finds both players for FaZe Academy. It has to happen here, and it just won't. Too much SMG presence for FaZe Academy, and Sim was just laying prone the entire time, making sure the hill was at least contested. And now you're trying to look at what happens next here as we go into our second rotation of hills. FaZe Academy have already amounted more score than they've had previously here in this rematch, which did exist at one point in time on this hardpoint Petrol. So the adaptations have absolutely come through strongly.
Spart's at 16-9, which is previously on 3 straight in that life alone with 1 minute and 51 seconds of hill time. Shift, you cannot allow an MP5 to find this much value if you're UYU. You have to either step up or go for a double chow, pinch it up, do something to break on through this. And again, the setup was there for UYU, but getting run over, AF Academy looking great in the respawn here, being able to take control of P1, this time desperately needed for UYU as they look to get the recontest to come on through. But take a look at player number 2. Gravity's all the way on the OE, over by arches, thinking about P2 already.
And Journey and Jimbo again, just combining for 4 kills between them. Journey's on 3 straight now this life, and a lot of it was just happening as Journey was watching the front door, Jimbo was watching from the tram station, and it was enough for them to pull together. Again, UYU, like you mentioned, not hitting from multiple angles. Now it will be our team in red, holding on to this second hard point. It has to be big here at the cafe. They really need at least 50 of these 60 seconds, you feel like. Trades, pinstripes, and the kill feed. Not terrible for UYU, who's still spawning in. But now with those kills starting to turn up in favor of FaZe Academy, they have to fight from behind. How about this? Rex is number 7. He's working his way in from the blue square. A little bit of a fortunate spawn, giving himself a natural pinch. And Pentagram says, the check-ins are closed. Come back at 3. He shuts down the hotel reception, and that'll be enough for UYU to find the first 30 seconds.
And Rex was able to find the kill over by the Arch's way. Will be traded out by Spart. There is another player for AF Academy. Are they actually going to try to go for this late hit? It would be wisely so. You can take a look at where the spawns are currently located at, and all of the arrows for AF Academy are all across the map. They're getting the spawns in Arches too, so this hit could be really good. Maybe not for scrap time, but to really split up UYU headed into the next hard point. 2 players for AF Academy now. Make that 3, breaking past lines into the hazmat building, and this could be big.
This is the worst case scenario for UYU. There were still a couple of seconds left, and it was, I believe, Jimbo who won the 1v1. He doesn't get the scrap time, but because the hill was still active, UYU spawns all the way out in the bottom right corner of your mini-map. Fortunately, Zyral and Rex are having a field day as they try to break through the middle of the map, and somehow UYU, with odd man numbers against their favor, will get the initial 20 seconds and change. Pentagram now getting involved. He wants to watch players come out of spawn. Gravity looking for the drop shot will then choose to go high rather than low, and he'll find that response kill, but still, all of this pressure from UYU has put them right back into the game. If they can hold off this next push, it would be massive to get a tie in the hard point here, but it looks like that will not occur. 15 seconds to play for it. If you're UYU, do you hit this one more time?
UYU are definitely going to commit to this one more time shift. At least a handful of players looking for exit frags. Rex is able to find 1, make that 2 now. 21-19 finds Rex, able to get gun, or will be gunned down by Sib through the threshold of that doorway. And now with UYU getting the trades more than necessary, they are very happy to take that because they have the spawns over to P4 inside the billiards, inside the pool hall, shift. And now this is going to be looking really good for UYU. They can take the lead off of this hard point. It just comes down to a well-placed break. Look at the spawns though. UYU spawning over by P2. Absolutely run over the OE attempt from AF Academy, and now they have themselves against the wall.
Last time, though, for FaZe Academy, they did a great job holding this blue square and setting up a hit. It's coming through one more time. Infamous. It has to be now. You've got to go massive. He finds one, not able to get the second. Rex will pick up the scrap, though, and find one, but Journey slides right underneath of him, and now it's down to FaZe Academy. They cannot win it here, but goodness, do they come close. And UYU, you were looking at this hill saying, this is our comeback mechanic. This is the hill that we're able to bounce back with. It is a battle for the scrap. Rex will take down 2. Spark going to give it one more good college try, but he thinks the better of taking that 200 level class, and we'll back away. 218 to 214. We're heading into the cafe restaurant.
That kill from Pentagram on Gravity was huge, but soon traded out. Spark, Journey, and Sib finding 3. Pentagram still alive. Now Pentagram for 3, 23-18, has control of this restaurant shift along with tons of members, like you say, clean wipe coming across the board. AF Academy spawning over by P1. You definitely need to hit this one more time. UYU can win this out right here, but they're waiting for the spawns to come through. They're waiting for the pinch. One player coming in on the opposite side of Tram. I believe this is Journey.
It's happening.
They're able to find the kills.
Jimbo from the back door. He's going to slide on through and find Infamous. That's going to be a flip of this hard point for now. They, again, cannot win it here, but UYU still could. Ruiz is just going to hold himself prone right inside the doorway. Sib tries to slide forward for a double, but isn't able to get it. Pentagram, meanwhile, he's all the way over towards the new hard point. He knows that they can win off this next one, but Journey will find him. He's got one more in front. He needs to find the second. He will, but the trade is there from Zyral. He's the only UYU member here, and Sib, how has that man stayed alive for that long? Spart will follow right behind him. 237, 234. Pentagram, do you have what it takes to swing this one back around? He's gonna find almost a double, but Jimbo and Journey, again, the J brothers, they're able to put together 4. Zyral jumps on in to try to contest, but Spart is here with the FaZe Academy squad to try to put it away.
242 and counting up. Both teams can win it out here. It has to be a hard hit coming through. The spawn so far away, over by the C-Dom. Back behind Hazmat. 250 will read the scoreboard, and we have ourselves a grand finals and a reset. 250 to 238. The final score here for FaZe Academy to win the first grand finals against UYU. And now we have another best of 5 right ahead of us.
Oh my goodness. Talk about the medal of FaZe Academy to break on it, and this last play from Zyral nearly gave UYU the legs to ride through on, but it won't happen. Not here, not today, not behind the slaying power of this FaZe Academy squad. I mean, again, we don't have the ability to go back and take a look at the scoreboard, but if you were to go back on your own and take a look at it, there were a ton of engagements for UYU, but the kill differential still favored that of FaZe Academy. Hey, we do have the ability to go back. Just take a look at the differential. Spart was plus 10, a 30 and 30 for Journey. Everyone at least even, but just, again, the constant engagements that were happening early. Again, Infamous had a very slow start to this one, 22 and 31 to finish things off, but it's the simple fact of the matter. You look at 2 and nearly a half minutes of hill time, 36 and 26 for Spart. Call him Mr. Do It All. He was able to do just that. A little bit of everything. My goodness.
Yeah, it almost seems like that's exactly what Infamous was trying to trade off for too. That's just the trades that you get. 2 different MP5 players, one that's able to trade their life for 1 to 4, one that's not really trading out for those bigger numbers in between. And again, quite the different tale. If you take a look at Azir Cave comparatively to St. Petro, it was FaZe Academy getting the rotations, but then getting absolutely run over. They look very comfortable here comparatively to Azir Cave, and rightfully so, able to come out on top of those engagements, those gunfights, the OE decisions to be able to get those pinch hits to come through, waiting to count their spawns in the 3rd rotation, 4P4. It was very impressive.
Extremely impressive. And you mentioned it. They came out of the losers bracket. Atlanta FaZe Academy got worked last time we saw them, or last time they played it, rather, here, Tom. They fixed their mistakes, clearly.
Absolutely. You know what I mean? One of the big things that I think is a takeaway as we jump into the reset, by the way, shout out to the folks that are just joining us. If you're just catching us, this is the grand finals of last week's Call of Duty League Challenger Open that happened at the Atlanta Homestead. So because we made it to the grand finals, Atlanta actually came through the losers bracket. Believe it or not, UYU sent them down there in the first place. So they play again, 3 wins to Atlanta, and that means we reset the whole thing and we do it one more time. So reflecting on the whole series, we came in with a couple of different assumptions or preconceived notions about these teams, so to speak. And really, we can kind of take away the fact that UYU wants to play these more sort of feet in the ground type engagements. And Atlanta FaZe identified that, I think, in match number 1 at Azir Cave. They're like, all right, this is what these players want to do. They want to play this more slower. No problem. Journey and the boys go ahead and just grab the SMGs and run it down mid. Proper, talk to me a little bit about how Atlanta kind of adapted and if UYU can change that in the set coming up.
Well, I think Shift hit it wonderfully as we were heading into Hackney Yard and St. Petro along the way. We were talking about it continuously throughout it. I think Atlanta FaZe, the Academy team, were able to realize what their profile was, what makes them strong. Playing fast, work around the SMGs, find those exit frags, and then being able to turn that into map pressure for your M4s to get in those power positions. All of that was so true from the Hackney Yard domination into St. Petro hardpoint. Comparatively to the Azir Cave hardpoint, this was the biggest adaptation for me that I saw from AFA.
Yeah.
What I saw across the way here, Shift, I want to lead you into this one, was we talk a lot about these hectic maps when we look at Petro and we look at Hackney, about whether or not you're able to flip the spawns. And I noticed that you brought up a fact that UYU was struggling to find those flips, and I actually don't think it was on their own. I think it was by design from AFA. They kept making those wraparounds, and that kind of prevented us from really seeing the whole map flip. Is that alone what allowed Atlanta FaZe Academy to kind of grab this set, or was it something else?
Oh, it's a big reason, absolutely. I mean, you see the score total 163, 149, but it really was the last 30 seconds. It came down to, would UYU be able to get themselves one more flag? It could have been an even game by the end of it. But yes, that's absolutely one of those things that you mentioned. It was by design. Atlanta FaZe knew when to use their numbers properly to go for things like neutralizations of the opposite home flag, or in the case that you're mentioning, they're able to bring up the spawn flip because they know how to manipulate the map with numbers. On the opposite side for UYU, the only time we saw them go for a neutralization, it was when there were 50-50 gunfights going on. They didn't definitively control anything. So when you're trying to go for a neutralization, when you don't have numbers in your favor, that's when you're essentially telling the game, okay, let's roll the dice to see where our spawns come through. And unfortunately, Atlanta FaZe Academy were already pushing behind to try to find some favor going from the office to the A point. So that was essentially what costed them the game in that instance. And then you also talk about St. Petro, kind of the same thing with spawn flips, a number of moments where the rotations were just a little bit early or a little bit late. Again, it's hard to really notice those when you're in-game playing in real time, but you go back and rewatch some of those rotations. My biggest worry for UYU is the fact that they never really controlled that blue square where that tramp station is. That's where Journey and Jimbo found a lot of their favor, and let's be honest, the majority of their kills.
Yep.
You know, go ahead, man. Go ahead, Proper.
No, I'm just in simple agreement. I think me and Shift have surprisingly agreed with a lot of these statements being said between us.
Last licks before we jump into break and get back into the set. I want to talk about the fact that Atlanta FaZe has 2 separate two-way players, and the fact that UYU is a draft of all of just the challengers players, right? So you're saying it's very, very difficult at a fast pace in game to notice these rotations and stuff. But when we watch the top teams, that's the difference maker. That's what we're seeing.
Yes.
So is it Atlanta FaZe Academy, when we look at Gravity and Journey, these are the two players that can play up at the top level, so we assume that they've actually played it and scrimped with these guys. Is that the experience from the big show coming down here in Challengers, or is it something else?
I would say from my point of view, yes, you're going to take away and, soak up some of the things that are being said from the Atlanta FaZe squad. I cannot speak truly to if Crowder and Easy Mac are spending a lot of time with Gravity and Journey, the coach and analyst for Atlanta FaZe, but at the end of the day, Gravity and Journey decided who's on this roster. They went out there and found Spark, grabbed up Sibilance when he turned 18, and was able to take Jimbo away from what he had, just an okay showing at Minnesota, but a lot would argue that his team wasn't all that strong. But for UYU, they're kind of riding in the basket of, we're all five going to stay together. We're going to make the adjustments as we need to. But I think it just comes down to, as teams are starting to really fully understand, the meta of this game, what is the little bit of power, like especially for instance, for Atlanta FaZe, the pro team, it's all been on the fast-paced SMGs, and the FaZe Academy squad have obviously adopted some of that as they pick up one of the fastest players in Challengers right now that I've seen in Spark. You also mix that up with Gravity and Journey, who one of them holds a most likely AR in Gravity, but Journey, who was very fast when he played for Heretics last year. It is absolutely, like you mentioned, by design that Atlanta FaZe wanted to go for this fast pace, and obviously it's paying out for them here in this grand final set.
The fast pace obviously brought us to the bracket reset. Atlanta FaZe Academy up, I guess, one. We're going to jump into the next break. We'll talk AF and UYU. Take two after this.
And when I start to think, oh, the hole closest starts to end up on the brink. I tried so hard, but all these scars, they cut so deep I bleed. I fell so fast from heaven, it's like someone clipped my wings. Now I'm falling, and I can't see the ground. Can we stop this gravity? It keeps bringing me down. I can't breathe and I don't wanna die. Can we stop this gravity? 'Cause I don't wanna say goodbye. I forgive the pain you gave to me so long ago. Sleepless nights I laid awake just begging to let go. I almost got to suicidal thoughts, but you stepped in. An angel sent from heaven showed me how to live again. Now I'm falling and I can't see the ground. Can we stop this gravity? It keeps bringing me down. I can't breathe and I don't wanna die. Can we stop this gravity? 'Cause I don't wanna say goodbye. My love, I'm gone. I need to be strong. The darkness it tried to swallow me. Some days I fall, but I hear your call. I pray I don't hit the ground. Gravity. 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 know the sadness that cripples you. It comes in waves and out of the blue. But there are days you feel freedom too. Bask in the glorious lightning. Move like the sunlight, darkness can't hold you here. Bold and bright, push through the atmosphere. This is your dawn, this is your break.
Hello, guys. Welcome back to the show. It's your boy Tom F. Battinger, joined here by, of course, I Hold Shift, and none other than Mr. Proper. Welcome back, guys. How y'all feeling after the break?
Oh, I'm feeling great, man. I mean, that was about as thrilling of a last two maps as we could have wanted. Really, the whole series was also really, really close, which is what you want, honestly, out of a grand finals. We were able to see a lot of good things and a couple of things that maybe cause for concern going into the second best of 5.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Definitely some exploitable things coming out from both these teams. It's going to come down to the adaptations, mostly from UYU, headed into this this reset of a grand final.
And if you're just joining us, just a reminder, we're sitting, like we said, bracket reset. We're heading into take 2. Last week at Atlanta FaZe, the homestand for the COD League, we saw the challenger bracket come out the way this worked out. And so UYU versus AFA is what we got. AFA was knocked down to the bottom side by none other than UYU, and that winds up with us where we are here today. And just a reminder for those of you that have only really paid attention to the top scene, Call of Duty Challengers is a global open path to the pro circuit. Anybody can sign up, and you and your team can go ahead and visit cities around the world and go ahead and make a shot to join in. This weekend, we've got the Paris Challengers Open. You can join that if you want to see how the Legion go. And then, of course, we've got Chicago and Dallas down the way. You can buy tickets right now. But for right now, we're going to jump into the second half of our fantastic bracket. So Atlanta FaZe coming off of the reset. You guys have played around with some different games. This is a moment when you get that reset. It's already been like an hour and a half on stage. This is LAN, don't forget. So what do you guys do to really kind of break up the monotony and kind of reset mentally because you've just physically reset?
I'll tell you flat out that the environment that these guys were playing in was, I won't say uncomfortable, but it wasn't nearly as comfortable as you wanted. I mean, they were in the hallways of the concourse up top in that bowl of a stadium, and there were people lined all the way around the back footing. So again, you've got people literally breathing down your neck while you're playing. So to be able to come out of that very, very close series that comes away with a loss for UYU, a victory obviously for Atlanta FaZe Academy, for UYU, you just got to hit a mental reset. You take the time to make sure you're planning out what picks and bans you want to do for maps, and you put together a map set that might feel more favorable to you. But I think you might also be questioning, okay, what went wrong? We had Petro hardpoint the last time against these guys, and we smoked them. So maybe there's some second guessing here, and that's the last thing you want to do when you're on that final best of 3. Don't second guess. You got there for a reason. Trust what you were able to hold yourself up to throughout the entirety of what was a long tournament, and try to just repeat the same performances you had, not only earlier in the day, but also in the day previous.
Let's take a look at our two teams. If you're just joining us, we'll see it right away. Atlanta FaZe Academy. It's going to be Gravity and Spat. Sib is up there right away. And then, of course, the J Bros. We've got Journey and Jimbo across the way. Pentagram, Zyril, Rex, Infamous, and Ruiz. So you guys were talking about some of these UYU guys. Proper, you've got a little bit of experience kind of talking about these players. Who do you know and how do you know?
Well, Pentagram themselves have definitely busted into the scene. An S&D specialist, I would definitely say for a multitude of these players too, but their SMG presence all the way through Black Ops 4 leading into this game as well is something that you definitely write home about. Definitely something that was missing, if you will, from the previous series. Something that I noted was definitely need to step up from St. Petro into the last hardpoint that we played as well. And well, it just was not there for Pentagram. So hopefully one of those adaptations that we were talking about is something that they can clean up heading into the second grand final.
We're talking about it. Let's take a look at those maps that we're going to see in the grand finals. Last time around, we saw Petro twice, but Gunrunner, no Gunrunner last time. Now we get it both on hardpoint and domination, and of course Ramaza if we get there. So Petro, we've seen it, we've heard it, we've looked at it, we've loved it. Gunrunner, though, this is a different kind of story. A lot of nonsense going on this map. Talk to me, Shift. Talk to me.
biggest thing is, munitions depot, P2. You want to get that backside spawn. This is not unknown. Everyone who's watching the stream currently knows that's the case.
Yeah.
It just, for me, comes down to, we've already seen a handful of times where UYU struggled with flipping spawns. So that's going to be the biggest thing for me, is can UYU clean up their rotations from hard point to hard point? That's what caught them, unfortunately, on that St. Petra more often than not. Again, they did a good job manipulating spawns and manipulating the map when it came to the Azir Cave. You want to try to mimic some of those things, but my biggest question mark is, will these SMGs be able to open up with a couple of kills on the transition, looking for those early rotations to set themselves up not only for that munitions depot, but of course also for that back warehouse. If they do not hold either of those two money hills, this one could be over fast if AF Academy are able to come back out with a high fragging potential in their SMG line.
Proper over there. You had some really good insight into our last point maps. I want your take as well. We've seen the spawn flip, and honestly, a lot of our commentary and analysis has been on what AF Academy is able to do right to make UYU uncomfortable. Let's flip that, like we hope UI can flip the respawns. How are UYU going to find themselves in a better position this time around?
Well, again, like Shift already said it. This is Gunrunner territory, right? So that boiler room, you're looking. So I call it the pinnacle, the triangle of this map. You have showers, you have boiler, and you have green. It's all just so pivotal when you're looking for these rotations, all the way from P2 to the coal mines. That entire area is just an absolute field day for SMGs and their presence to come on through. So I want Pentagram again to show us what they're made of, as well as Infamous and Rex. I know that they're all very strong players within their own self, and they can find a lot of value here on Gunrunner. It just has to come through. Back on Azir Cave in our first grand final, they did a fantastic job of not only setting themselves up, but being able to break AF Academy quite early. Gonna have to be what they do here on Gunrunner Hardpoint again.
When it comes to search on St. Petra, we saw what happened last time, and I think the biggest note there is how close it actually was. Atlanta FaZe wound up taking a couple of rounds towards the end of it, but a little back and forth. We noticed some love to the snipers. Is it going to be just the same old song and dance because of that, where we see the snipers early and then abandoned, or is this different because of the bigger picture of the set here? Shift.
I would say that looking at this map set as a whole, this feels like UYU says, okay, we messed up. Let's go back and try again. That's what this really feels like. You talk about the really unfortunate roll of the grenade against UYU, and who knows what happens if that nade doesn't end up connecting for a teammate. Again, it was such a random experience. You don't normally see something like that happen. I can only imagine Journey saying, no, mi amigo, do not come up here, because that's the last thing you wanted was trying to get back up there to try to peek the window, but the nade was costed there from Pentagram trying to cook it up. So this really feels like it's a run back. UYU says, we know what we can do strong. Let's just get back to what we know, forget about that last best of 5, and just read ourselves fully.
And I love that case. UYU, of course, being the team with no changes at the beginning, and that's the type of strategy fits a team leaning on the synergy. UYU down on the reset. It's all zeros now. So we'll see who can go from 0 to 100. You guys are on the call. Let's jump right in.
Thanks so much, Tom. Really appreciate it. Again, here, Proper. We talked about Gunrunner. We talked about some of the struggles that we have. For me, beyond that, one of the talk points we missed out on, who's going to stop Spart and Sib? I mean, flat out, those guys have been all over the map, and that's my biggest cause for concern for UYU is there has not been a true response for them yet when there's not 3 ARs for both teams on the map.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about SMG presence, right? But what that breaks down even further into is tempo control. And we talked about it in the first part of our grand finals shift, and I can only imagine that same tempo is going to try to be set by AF Academy. You brought up Spart. The J Bros are there too. Gravity and Sib have been there along the way, putting in the work. Nevertheless, UYU not only have to either mirror said tempo, but they have to be able to come out on top of these engagements too. Big 50-50 break coming across the turbine. Cyril's able to answer back for 2, but a very good kill feed in favor for AF Academy. And you talked about Spart. How about finding 4 on their first life shift?
Yeah, it sounds good. Seems good. Big thumbs up for me. Now, Pentagram, he's going to be holding by the lockers, trying to work his way out of the bathroom. And again, for FaZe Academy, there's a decision that has to be made. When do you go for the spawn flip? When do you just go to soak up some hill time? So far, a little bit of both as Journey's worked his way into the back, and he's actually slipped right through what will be the next hard point. Can he influence the spawns back here? Atlanta FaZe Academy are still spawning Cole. Number 5 you saw for a moment was Zyril. He's waiting and watching over this direction, but if he falls here, I'll say that would be absolutely devastating for UYU, but at least for FaZe Academy, you still have one player keeping their life in the back, and meanwhile, Spart is continuing to do Spart things, as it will be FaZe Academy holding on to the better part of 30 seconds off this first neutral hill.
Zarl able to do more than just finding that OE kill. AF Academy getting some spawns in and around the half wall. Have the player on the top position, top of the train, or on top of the stairs, looking towards the train cars. But there's still the player in the backside for... Oh, reconnect your controller. I believe in you. You can do this. Just plug it in for it.
I promise.
But you know... But you know what's even more vital too is the control. Again, we talked about it on the first the second hard point of our first series. AF Academy are right there, getting one player in the backside, helping the pinch to come on through. Yes, it's UYU that are in control of the swing point of P2 thus far, but the setup is here. The kills are coming through. Journey, Gravity, and Spart able to find the break to come on through. Spart for 2 now. They're on 3 straight, 10 and 6. That is a fantastic break by AF Academy.
And now Journey, again, 15 seconds. He's going to be the vanguard here, while Spart and Sib are doing magical things on the old hill. And actually, they forced one player for UYU to spawn back in the top right corner. So mismatch of numbers coming forward here. UYU, you need to try to read this and be able to get themselves back together. But it looks like FaZe Academy more interested in getting set up for the eventual P5 spawns. And Spart just cannot lose a gunfight currently. He's 12 and 6. He's getting it sliding. He's getting it jumping. He's getting it crouched. Doesn't seem to make a difference. He runs out of bullets. And well, you can't win gunfights when you run out of bullets. Fortunately, Gravity's there for the cleaning up process. And again, FaZe Academy able to break way too easily.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. First necessity to winning at a gunfight is bullets in your magazine. Thank you, Shift. Academy, though, again, coming out on top of this rotation. 13 and 7 is Spart over top of the God-headed. Gravity and Spart will both go down. Rex coming in here for 3 straight is at 13 and 9.
Good grief.
This is exactly what you need from this player in particular. You need your shining stars to shine even brighter. I love this hit coming in the backside of the warehouse too. That's Zyril trying to get spawns in their favor. Could potentially get a couple of good exit frags along the way. But we're headed over to the 10, so this could be very unfortunate for UYU as far as spawns are concerned. AF Academy, they get the rotation, they get the kills in and around showers too. Yes, there is a trade, Gravity getting a team kill at that, but able to answer back on the Infamous. Now the pinch has to be huge, and Zyral's positioning has to pay off here.
He dies. You mentioned it absolutely correctly. Zyral's just waiting for the spawns, but if you just get a pinch on the hill, you win the spawns. So not only do they lose out on a potential little bit of scrap time that could have been won, but they don't even get anywhere near the rotation to get set up for the initial time. So now for FaZe Academy, they're about to eclipse the 100-point mark, and you're looking at both Zyral and Rex at 14 and 12 and 10 and 6, and where's the rest of the team? You look on the other side of the scoreboard for FaZe Academy, 12 and 8, 16 and 11, 8 and 10, 9 and 8, 10 and 8. Everybody's popping off or at least going even with hill time. And UYU, again, they're just getting punished for not taking the proper timings to get into these rotation spots to contest hill time early.
No, the biggest pain in the rear here is definitely Journey. I mean, Journey, the solo man, always try to get these OEs off. Winning out these gunfights as well definitely helps out. Now rotating into P5, this is UYU's spawn. They're able to get a pretty comfortable setup. They have Rex over by the coal mines. Ruiz is able to get the shots on a Jimbo. You got to finalize that kill. Ruiz will be able to do so. Traded out by Gravity. AF Academy got to be pushed back ever so slightly. They're spawning over by the Vietnam here in coal mines. This hit could be pretty big, but the setup for UYU is very strong.
But the problem is, again, Ruiz, he's sitting all the way up mid-map. He's going to have to come back, and very wisely will. Rex does what he can to delay some time. Zyril over the top trying to get a couple of shots in from the long angle, and then we'll go through the hidey hole to get into the hill while they're going to have to bunker up this security's last 24 seconds. Jimbo just looked like he was going down a slip and slide right there. Goodness, he slipped so far. Able to come through for 2. Gravity, Sib, and Journey making a full 5-man wipe, and just like that, not only a FaZe Academy broken for the scrap, but they're actually sending a few numbers to contest for the spawn flips for the eventual XP2.
Yeah, they have 2 players inside showers, so spawns will still be in and around the area. Journey's still alive, will be finally gunned down though, and now this is going to be a well-trained hit. Look at Spart in their positioning, going to be pushing on through P2. That nade's going to be hitting the EOD. It's going to be a lot of good information to come through for them. However, take a look at where Rex just spawned in the munitions depot again. Walks on out, finds 2. Spartan Jimbo are down. It could be a big pinch hit, but Journey puts that one to rest. And now you have AF Academy with the open season to march on forward. UYU will now have a 50-50 attempt as they have players in the boiler and around the warehouse alleyway. They could get a really good attempt here. Ruiz finds 2. Jimbo answers back though, and this is going to be troublesome for UYU going forward.
Again, you just play a little bit of you did this, we do that. For FaZe Academy, they flipped the spawns around pretty early in P2, but they found a good 35 seconds worth of hill time on this center platform. UYU's only found about 10, and they're not even close to influencing the spawns for the upcoming second hardpoint in this munitions depot. Pentagram gets himself a double. We'll at least open up some space here through the cargo containers, which is where this hit will be staged for UYU. You feel like you got to break sooner rather than later. Jimbo staying prone will find one. Journey up top will take a peek out the window and find a lot of damage, but Gravity will be the one to clean up the kill. And now he's in a little cheeky spot in between the rafters. And for UYU, again, they're just hitting this from one side door. They're not finding multiple doors. This is a spot from
That's
Spark.
definitely
Okay,
a spot.
well, does get taken down as doors are not made for climbing, but Sib will hit the pinch, and it looks like UYU will eventually break through, but can they hold this final 30?
That's Infamous at 9 and 20. Definitely needs to get a few more kills in the favor. I mean, you have a 73-point lead here for AF Academy and starting to grow up. You definitely need something to break on through for UYU. This pinstripe kill feed is not the play so far. Again, this scrap time could be going in the favor, but AF Academy try to go for exit frags. This is fine for Rex to able to get the scrap time, because take a look at the rotation for AF Academy. Working their way through the coal mines. Yes, the setup is here. Zyro finds 1 plus a teammate along with their Semtex, but this could be the time to break on through. Pentagram has a different story to be written about here. Has really tried their best to be stepped up. Gravity from afar will be able to take Pentagram down. This is a very early break into the hard point. Nobody on there or near thus far for UYU. They got to work their way in through P5 and get a break sometime soon.
Look, you want to know the difference if you're out there watching casually saying, what do you guys mean when you say that Atlanta FaZe plays with more tempo or more speed than other teams? UYU just sent 4 players, as they could have helped Pentagram maybe a little bit sooner. They sent them all the way back to the P5 spawns, and now they're coming forward to try to contest the hill halfway through. They will get a break, but when you talk about speed and tempo, that's a showcase of Atlanta FaZe Academy says, you can have the spawns. We want to take the scrap, and we want to take the initial. We just want to be on the hard point as much as humanly possible, of which you've got 2 players over a minute of hard time, almost a third here, if Sib can find another 9 seconds. And that's exactly what people mean when they say that they're playing very quickly. And now with this in mind, Atlanta FaZe Academy, again, set up for the scrap and the potential initial time here on P4, and they will surely eclipse the 200-point mark here soon.
Rex is going absolutely massive for their team, 31 and 23, trying their best. There's Zyro again, another team kill coming through by way of Semtex. Very unfortunate to see. Here's Journey again, breaking the OE. Can't get the first trade. There's Rex, still on a tear, 32 and 23. Definitely needs a little bit more. Will be traded out, but the 50-50 over top of the tins is coming out on top for the AF Academy.
Oh my goodness.
Jimbo for 2. What a snap on Ruiz. Can't get the third. Pentagram walks back in, is able to stop that in its tracks. 30 seconds left here on the hardpoint shift, but in this rotation back on a P1, you take a look at the spawns for AF Academy for that Covenant spawn location headed into the munitions depot. They already got it. You have player number 3, Ruiz, trying their best to work their way, but it's, again, that tempo, it's so slow. The hesitation for UYU is coming back to bite them in the rear.
There was 30 seconds or so left to play for this hill, and Ruiz, I don't mean to call you out on stream here, brother, but he was looking for the flank early. You gotta keep sending people, okay, check the flank, go to the hill. Check the flank, go to the hill. Stagger that as you're coming off the respawn, because again, FaZe Academy found the majority of that scrap time. Now 15 seconds away from the W for UYU. You have to be perfect, and you have to be perfect now. You cannot give up a second here. You can maybe have a hope if you find a full 60, 50-50 the first center platform, and then find a spawn flip for P2. That's your win condition. Can you find a way to get it? A lot of pressure coming from the coal side. Watch out for M. Ruiz. He's on the flank, number 3. He very well could make a play, but he's going to get gunned down from behind as Gravity stiffed him out, and now Spart looking to enter in. He'll be the first one to contest. Jimbo almost up and over. Rex has to find 2 more, and he just won't. FaZe Academy currently looking to lock things down, 243. It's going to be coming down to 1 more hit here from UYU, but do they have the legs to actually break on in? It looks like it's going to be a no, as Atlanta FaZe Academy able to take the first hard point here in the second best of 5, 250 to 184.
Even with the setup there, whether it was mistimed or not, trying to set them up for P5. They found a lot of value in it within the first or in the last rotation shift, unable to make it a second time. And why wouldn't play of the game go over to Spart? absolute
Yeah.
tear they just went on too. And I gotta say, you just either you match it or you try your best to break it off with counterflanks by way of ARs. But again, when you're going up against MP5s that are just finding breaks, and if you're UYU and you're getting these rotations, you just can't let you can't let AF Academy just quite literally waltz right in and just run you over for free. You have to be prepared. Those power positions need to be taken earlier on by UYU.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that sentiment, to be sure. Again, these two teams did play this map against each other in the winners semifinals.
Right.
UYU was able to take it 250, 172. And, we didn't take a lot of time to talk about this, but for FaZe Academy, they came in as the number 5 seed, mostly because you pick up Sibilance, who has next to no pro points. So they kind of unintentionally, well, I guess intentionally, sandbagged their seed. And again, not having a lot of experience playing with one another, it really feels like, and again, this is all speculation, but they had to have found their stride somewhere in that loser's bracket after being sent there by UYU, because since they went down there, the results have been wildly different. They only really got blown out on one hard point, and that was against Rocker Academy in the first best of 5 they had in the losers bracket. And they actually were able to take a reverse sweep against that Rocker Academy squad. So maybe that was where things started to click, like, hey, maybe we're keeping these, young guns on a leash too much. Let them go and to see what happens. And it looks like so far Spart Sib having a great time here in the grand finals. It's what they once again have a fantastic performance.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about these two-way players all day, Gravity, Journey themselves quite literally existing on the OE all throughout that hard point shift. But I mean, Spart, you definitely can talk about this kid as far as their day is concerned, having quite the grand finals, stepping up to the case of very aggressive MP5, but trading their life for multiples. Now we find ourselves on S&D. Same Petro, Sib with the AX50 out. It's going to be looking for something. The top does not have the angle for the top of Billiards. Now looking at the top of the restaurant. Very forward push here for AF Academy. It's Jimbo that finds first blood this time. Rex is able to answer back on the Sib. That was all the way back over by the flower pots.
Now, again, remember back as far as the tempo went on this map for UYU, they just kept sitting mid-map and were hoping and praying they would find a kill. Rex is not unfamiliar to this position. He'll see Gravity shoulder check the door and will think better about how he wants to play this position. Is he keen to the fact that Journey is a little bit deeper? Well, now he is, because the shots are ringing out. But for FaZe Academy, still holding their ground solidly. And again, the bomb hasn't moved anywhere yet. Gravity will find 2 kills. Jimbo pushing through with Spart says, let's hit the go trigger. UYU, you want to sit mid-map? Fine. We'll take a little bit of a surround on you, and that's going to be likely enough for what will be a 4v1 in favor of FaZe Academy. Infamous does not have the bomb, let alone what seems like much of a chance in this very steep uphill battle. And with 20 seconds remaining, you can't see a world where he's able to pull this one off. He will find 1 kill. Not done yet. But the bomb is not exactly close by, and he will be taken down mid-map. FaZe Academy to draw first blood on the scoreboard.
FaZe Academy getting first blood, too. And you can take yourself back to St. Petro in the first part of the grand final shift, ending 6-4 in Atlanta's favor. UYU came out on top of a lot of first bloods, unable to come away with the round victory by way of unfortunate frag grenades and some other fortunate mistakes to come through. 2 kills only in their favor for that round alone. Gravity was able to find 3, Jimbo for 2. So these are things that you definitely need to be careful of, especially for the offense of Atlanta Academy. Whether they're feeling the hot hand feeling themselves may not matter. They understand their tempo is to be set as fast and try to get in there as quick as possible. That silence is being used for members of AF Academy. Great shots from Sid. Find first blood on a pentagram.
Sit down. He's like, I know that spot very well, and also know how to counter that spot very well. So now 5-on-4, and again, look at the speed here for FaZe Academy, putting some players that at least threaten the top side of the apartment complex. Journey will be taken down by a Semtex, but now Jimbo is paying a little bit more heed of his attention over towards that direction. 4-on-4, bomb being planted as Jimbo watches overhead, and he takes down Zyro, plus gets away with his life. 4-on-3, and now again the tilt of favor goes the way of FaZe Academy as they continue to find kills all over the backside of the A part of the bomb site. Infamous once again in a very desperate situation for what would be a 1v4 twice in a row.
Just has to come down to the setup here, Infamous, against the world of Spart, Jimbo, and Sib. Not popping dead silence, though. Probably wants to keep that in their back pocket for the next round. AF Academy with the bomb down. Very tall order ass here with the time and numbers against Infamous. Tries to get the angle through the window, but is well scouted out by AF Academy. The setup was good post-plant. 2 rounds up and in the favor for AF Academy. Getting themselves one step closer. They are looking clinical so far in St. Petro S&D the second time around.
And again, even the first time we saw them, it looked better than what I imagine it did,
Sure.
you know, when they played these guys earlier. This is just so surprising as far as how things have kind of come together for this squad. Again, for the St. Petro search, they've only played it once before they started this best of 5 grand finals twice now, and it was a 1-0 that they currently hold in the map record, but it went round 11 versus Recon 5, so this has not been a strong suit of FaZe Academy throughout the tournament so far, but goodness, have they gotten better faster. Zyral, First Blood, trying to change exactly what we just said and put it against us. They get a 5-on-4 for UYU. But again, take a look at the split here. Bomb is leaning towards A, but you got one player and Journey working all the way around. Jimbo, goodness, he must have been weak.
No
Oh my
way.
good Jimbo! 2 in a row, and he will keep his life and reset the dead silence. He's got an opportunity for a third. Journey on the long flank. Jimbo, go to the knife. Do it. Do it.
He's
Do
going
it.
on the knife.
Do it.
Going in.
Put him in the dirt. Oh, love to see it.
But that also gets back on the board too. I mean, UYU found First Blood, couldn't finish out the round. Need to commit to that bomb site, especially when you have an early numbers advantage like that. You can see the conviction coming through from AF Academy, knowing the positions to come out. They're not afraid. I mean, you can definitely tell they're not afraid. I mean, Jimbo's 7-1, pull out the knife for the final kill too. Knew exactly where the bomb carrier was located at. Pentagram and Ruiz have yet to find a kill thus far. Shift. UYU down 3 rounds. Definitely needs something to clean up. Civ is just looking for someone to challenge them at this point. I feel like they're just pulling out this AX50. Funsies at this point waiting for another scope, but Civ is the player to find those power positions and almost make it feel like it's an ACOG on an AR. Now a little bit of a reprieve waiting for some of the regen to come through. And there's Civ finding First Blood. There's Ruiz. Pentagram tries to jump on through the useless window. Will kick gun down with ease.
Look, fact of the matter is, I don't know what Pentagram thought he saw there, but that's just a mistake to try to push forward after you just lost a teammate. And there's apparently just everyone dropping trophy systems on top of each other for a moment there. Rex up top, he could potentially clutch. I say that, and of course, Spartan is able to find the trade. So now just down to Zyro, 1v4. Might catch the bomb planner. And he's going to look at all these trophies and says, what the heck is going on over here? Well, back away. Bomb planted. Sib watching the cross. Thank you very much. 4-0 FaZe Academy up.
Wow. And just the angles that are being held. I mean, if you're not going to challenge Sib with the scope, they are definitely going to go on the opposite side of Billiards. This power position from Sib being held wonderfully. Rotations to cover all the angles. The rest of the members, like you saw there at the end, being held on top of the bomb and covering the planter. You just look at the kills. I mean, only a handful of deaths for every single one of them. 8-2 for Jimbo. 5-1 for Gravity.
It's nuts.
I mean, you could say Spart's having a quiet game, but themselves as the entry of the SMG is holding these angles so wonderfully. The information being given on over. Pentagram and Ruiz have yet to find a kill. The offense this time for UYU looked to split mid-map. They have a player in the restaurant over by Arcitys as well, while the bomb carrier and Ruiz is hanging out by the tram station, waiting for the go-ahead on where we need to go forward.
And Infamous is going to smoke through the smoke, and he's got that silence, but just doesn't push through. Sparta, actually the one feeling frisky about it, will actually push through what was previously Infamous's smoke, and he finds the kill for free. And who used dead silence? Spart used dead silence. So again, just, are we committing to this or aren't we? Is kind of the question at the moment here for me when we look at UIU Search and Destroy. And again, you take a look just at the kill totals. I mean, the fact of the matter is, you've only got 7 kills through 5 rounds, so far at least. And it's not looking good to pull this one back as they don't have the numbers due by UYU. 35 seconds to play, and M. Ruiz, sitting top tram, was the bomb carrier, has to make a decision of where are we going to go. And let's be honest, you're going to come in here completely blind. Zyral tries the shoulder peek a little bit, and Gravity says, thanks for the free kill. Now 20 seconds in a 4v2 for FaZe Academy.
And make that a 4v1. Ruiz will be the remaining member of the communication coming through. The bullets soon to follow. All angles being held for FaZe Academy. They're on map point 5-0. UYU are absolutely above fire right now. AF Academy are playing along with it. They look so good here on Search and Destroy St. Petro. And when we talked about it, Alan, we ended up saying that UYU definitely could have come out on top of a lot of those rounds earlier on in St. Petro, that they could learn from their mistakes perhaps, but it's AF Academy that have learned and adapted so well into the second part of Grand Finals. Jimbo's at 9-2. Gravity's only died once with 6 kills. Sib with 5 kills along with, I believe, all AX50, by the way. It's going to end up going to this power position again. Do you dare to challenge them? UYU do not. You can only imagine that's going to mean that Sib is going to go work their way on over to that power position to come through. Zyral finds first blood, though, on a journey, and that could be big.
And that was a push through, like you mentioned. Journey looking to get aggressive mid-map, gets shut down. And now Ruiz getting involved. He finds himself a headshot. Pentagram another. A much better developed defense here for UYU, but not so fast. Gravity and Jimbo able to take down 2. Rex has to win a big one up close with an M4. And he's able to keep the tracking in line. So now it's Gravity for a 1v3 after a much-needed kill from Rex. He's able to get there. At least Gravity does have the bomb to work with, but we've seen this before. He doesn't have dead silence. And 35 seconds to play for here. He's got to figure that A is his only option, and he's got to try to find some information on a player before he makes a good move because he doesn't want to make noise. And how about that? He's going to see the shoelaces of Rex. So there's information on one. Can he find another? Nearly snaps his eye roll, but not going to happen here. UYU able to take down one of what would need to be 6 in a row for them to bounce back here.
Almost have to think that if you baited out the shoelaces, try to get the turnaround, could have gotten the pick to come through. No way that they knew that player on the left was as pushed up as they were. But again, UYU still have a very tall order to ask. They have to win the next 5 rounds, making that 6 in sequence of one another shift. And well, they're going to have to adapt rather fast. Sib was able to get gunned down. Good shots from the ARs of UYU. But you're going to need a lot more than just that. Ruiz and Pentagram finally able to come back to life. Rex trying their best here shift. But Jimbo at 10-3 is doing a fantastic job. Will be challenged at the top of the billiards. Not by way of a sniper, I don't believe. Good aggressive hit coming through from UYU so far. Hanging out. Gonna be a push on forward by Rex. It's gonna take that power position over by the dumpster. Well scouted out there by way of a well-cooked nade by Sib. And Gravity able to find Pentagram. 2 early kills for AF Academy. And the bomb has been dropped for UYU. They are in a 3v5.
And just look at the stack here for FaZe Academy. You got 3 players sitting right around the backside of the apartments or in these archways. And for UYU, all of your eggs are in the A basket. 45 seconds to play with, and now you feel like you got to commit. They're hoping for information, but FaZe Academy are just not making a mistake. They're saying, we're not going to even do anything besides shoulder people. We'll give you a little bit of info, but we're not going to allow you to get a pick. So now Zyral has to make a play. He finds one. He's able to turn over to where the trade would have came from. So good pre-fire in the mix. Now he's got to deal with Sib. Will go up and over, and Sib stays alive, goes for the retail, and Zyral isn't able to win it. Gravity is able to come up from the top side of the apartments, and now it's just down to Rex, and here comes the full flood. No chance. And, well, it's just like the old school movies of Jurassic Park. They're learning.
They're adapting. They're learning. That's just so scary. Again, when you have MP5s, play with a hot hand and definitely feeling themselves too, that is just so scary to combat against, especially for a team that is more or less forced to play slower. But you saw there from AFA shift, they're not afraid to play slow too. They can play that patient game, make the offense to force out their own errors and being able to collapse on top of them. Again, very well played, almost surgical-esque coming out from AFA there on search of St. Petro.
Yeah, indeed. We'll take a look back as far as what we've seen so far. You can see at the bottom of your screen, but let's bring up the beautiful graphics so you can see them more in your face. 250, 184, FaZe Academy way on top, essentially, of what UYU was trying to do pacing-wise on the first Governor hard point, and then here, that should read as a 6-1 score, not 6-4 there for FaZe Academy on the Petro Search and Destroy. We'll have the Gunrunner domination here up next, but you know, again, we talked about what this FaZe Academy team has done in the last couple of rounds. They've been learning. They've been getting better. They've been learning to play with one another most specifically. And that's been the big difference maker for me so far. You know, we'll bring Tom back into the picture here to get his reactions. So, but for me, at least, F-Dot, it's literally been just a tale of 2 halves because this has been a totally different look from really both of our teams. One in a positive light, another in a negative.
I mean, not even halves if you're looking at my side. Game number a long time ago. 2, 3, 4. That was all AF all the way. We come into a new bracket reset. What does that even mean? AFA are just continuing to bring the domination, man. Whether it's hard point or otherwise. Proper, talk to me about what you saw there.
I mean, what you're mostly seeing is, again, like we were talking about heading into the beginning of this series here, Tom. I mean, this is the profile that Atlanta FaZe clearly feel very comfortable with, and that's just playing
very
fast,
much so.
playing aggressive, and getting right up in your face. On the other hand, for UYU, that is not the flavor of the week for them. They want to pull themselves back and basically do what Atlanta FaZe did at that last round bait out the positioning, and just have those angles being well trained up. Have your gun up and ready for those flanks to come through. You know that they're going to be coming through eventually, whether it's from Spart, whether you're waiting for Journey or Jimbo to come across on the OE. It's been happening continuously.
I'm glad you're bringing up names here because we've had a lot of opportunity, right? As a commentator, I always say it's a good thing when I get to bring up your name, right? Because it means you're doing something often. The problem is across the way for UYU, there's only two names that I keep seeing. Rex and Zyro are the strong performers over and over and over again. In game one, they were the only ones that found themselves to a positive slash line. I mean, how much can these guys actually carry? They're not even half the team. We're at 5 players now, so it's even bigger than that. I mean, this is a world where the rest of UYU kind of needs to pick it up before we jump into the next maps. I mean, Alan, how does UYU turn it around? Is it up to Rex and Zyro to carry harder, or do the other guys have to step it up?
No, the other guys have to step it up. Again, we don't want to throw too many negatives because all 10 of these players are very, very good players. But for me, it's just been a little bit of uncoordination from UYU. And, a lot of people, and this is, putting myself on a small soapbox, is they're looking at like bad stat lines and they say, well, this guy's just bad. That's not the case anymore, especially since we went to the 5v5 platform away from 4v4. A lot of things rely, especially on this mode, this map that we're about to have in Gunrunner Domination, on where you're setting yourselves up. And if you're trying to break into an area, whether that's towards the B flag or you're trying to flip a home flag for a neutralization or a full flip, are you doing it together? And are you hitting it through the right areas? Or are you just going one by one through where usually someone's already set up watching you? So far, it's been the latter. When it came down specifically to that Hackney Yard hard point, remember back to our first best of 5, UYU was only able to flip the spawns around a single time when it came to going from C to A. And even then, they barely were able to hold on to it for a significant amount of time. This is not a map, though, as we're about to go into it, that is dictated by holding one side or the other. You can play from either the C or the A side of the map and still find success. So for me, for UYU, come together with a coordinated plan and make sure you're doing it together.
Great points. I want to return to that because it's all at the end of the day about the team. Sometimes your job is to sit down. Your job is to stay right there. As we're going to return after this brief break. We'll see you then.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. can't you just let me eat my weight in glee? I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. Some days I feel skinnier than all the other days. Sometimes I can't tell if my body belongs to me. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.
Welcome back, folks. We're here with game number. We're heading into game number 3, but it's the second time around. Tom F. Banninger joined here by Proper. I hold shift. Welcome back, boys. You get a nice break?
Great break.
Drank lots of water, as should you all at home.
That's a good call. That's a good call. Got to stay healthy because the UYU needs a bit of a checkup. It's been AFA pretty much since minute 2. Game number 1 in the first reset went the way of UYU, but nothing's been coming up since then. Before the break, we talked a little bit about Rex and Zyro being the strong performers and kind of focusing on these guys. And I asked Shift, how we kind of, if the other guys have to elevate, and obviously the answer is yes. So here's, I'm going to ask you guys to wear your coach hat. All right, you're playing for UYU. How do you elevate the other guys? Is it a change of strategy? Is it a change of micro? Do you just tell them step it up? Or is there something that the team can do to control the situation?
I'll let you take that one first, Proper, honestly.
Of course.
I want to play the other card. That's why.
He's just waiting. Okay. Well, I mean, for me personally, when it comes down to UYU, it's not necessarily just step it up. I mean, it's easy to say just hit more shots, right? You just win your gunfights, haha. But at the end of the day, what it comes down to are these setups that have to come on through. The difference in between set 1 and 2 here, Tom, is just that. You see Atlanta FaZe, they're getting the setups. They're winning the gunfights as well. But now the setups for UYU are absolutely faltered. They're all over the place. And these need to be cleaned up. You need to put yourself in power positions, such as what you're finding from Journey, which is what you're finding from Sib. These power positions from FaZe Academy need to be taken away, and they need to be given over to, say, Pentagram, Zyro. We saw Rex popping off as well. Those positions need to be theirs if you're on UYU.
Yeah, from my standpoint, when it comes to putting on the coach hat, well, I'll just go ahead and put on the coach hat. For me, it's been all Atlanta FaZe, and I think it's going to stay that way. We're going into the domination where they have looked incredible. They've done incredible so far. The last we saw them play on Hackney Yard, they looked great. I don't see a world changing where UYU could bounce back into this one. It's just been too much presence, too much power. But you hit it correctly, Proper. If UYU is going to come back, it has to come out of the guns that have not been lining things up yet. It's just, can you do it over the course of a small break? I'm not thinking as much so in the favor of them.
Well, right now, we'll take a look at how these teams are hitting the battlefield. Game number way. Of course, just a quick recap. Atlanta FaZe 2, but if you were here for the search and destroy, you know how lopsided that was. It was a 6-1, not a 6-4. Our mistake on the graphics. Apologies to that one. But Gunrunner coming up next. This one is different. Like we said, we didn't see Gunrunner in the first set. Now we're seeing it for the second time. Atlanta FaZe clearly knew what was going on in game number 1. What can they do here in game number 3 on a different game mode?
I mean, look at it this way. The one blessing that you have from Hardpoint Gunrunner is at least you get to move away from the power position of Boiler once in a while, right? As the Hardpoints will start rotating over munitions and back to Warehouse. But you don't necessarily get that choice here on Domination, as the B-Dom resides inside the coal mines shift. You know as well as I do, those 3 buildings, quite imperative to a team's success. And what weapon would you typically bring inside those buildings? Why not an MP5? And the MP5s for FaZe Academy thus far have absolutely been slaying out. And if you're UYU again heading into this, that's what you need to do.
Yeah, I mean, you hit it right in the head. MP5s are the cause for concern here for UYU. The only map they've won so far in this series was a AAAR setup on Azir Cave. So there's definitely a discrepancy here when it comes down to maybe the individual talent or just how are we utilizing our resources when it comes to SMGs. That's the big thing. You know, Pentagram with an AR, terrifying. Pentagram so far with an SMG, not as much. So like, is it just an individual skill thing, or is it just a simple fact that, hey, UYU just not hitting things together with their SMGs? I would favor more towards the latter because I've seen what players like Pentagram can do with an SMG. It just comes down to right now, Atlanta FaZe has had the upper hand when it comes to the pacing and the tempo, and that's the biggest thing that needs to change for me going into this Gunrunner Dom.
I'm going to give you an easy one here, guys. We'll stay away from these are best of fives, right? So we could just be all done here. We take a break every 2 maps, right? So are we coming back here for a game 5, or is it Atlanta AF all day?
I'm an optimistic individual when it comes down to, you can ask Shifty. I probably make him sick to his stomach with the amount of optimism that I bring to each and every single cast, but I have yet to see. Come on, I've yet to see it come on through for UYU thus far. Shift said it wonderfully. The AAAR setup is where they look pristine, but you're not going to get that cause and effect here on Gunrunner domination. Their SMGs need to step up before I fully change my mind. I think Atlanta Academy, they definitely take this here on Gunrunner domination. They will take the series.
Shift, we've seen the hat. Let's hear the words.
Yeah, for me, it's even if they don't take the Gunrunner hardpoint, or domination rather, we've seen UYU crumble on the St. Petro hardpoint. So to answer your previous question of will we come back to go into a game 5, I don't think so. It just comes down to will we see it last into map 4 or won't we? Only a matter of time will tell, I think.
I've got to agree. Listen, we started here a couple hours ago and we haven't seen a UYU win in a while. Yeah. Atlanta just pretty much on top. I'm going to let you guys take it because this is one that we just got to see the action one more time, perhaps the last time. Proper and Shift bring us game 3, maybe 4.
Thank you so much, Tom. Appreciate it so very, very much. And well, we're jumping right in here. And for UYU, you're spawning on the C side of the map. And I think my biggest question mark here, Proper, coming into it is, does UYU want to stay on that side, or do they want to try to flip? And I guess the opposite to the case for FaZe Academy. Do they want to stay on the A side, or do they want to flip? Looks like for right now, UYU sending a lot of resources through Bathroom, but does anyone catch out Smart? Looks like they will. A good start here for UYU. A lot of presence towards the A flag, but Rex cannot do this himself. He needs a little bit of help.
Kill's unable to be there, though. One trade coming mid-map over top of P1. Zyro's going to start working their way over to the opposite side. The green is going to be able to help out Rex just do that. Going to be able to start encroaching themselves here onto A, start the neutralization. What does this mean for AF Academy? It means that they get the spawn over to C. It means that they can get players in and around the boiler room and set themselves up ever so wonderfully. Sib walks back in with the SMG, finds 2. They're on 4 straight. They will be gunned down for their first death. But what did it cost to try to flip the spawns there, UYU? It almost cost you just about everything. The B flag still secured so far for AF Academy. A will go over way for UYU. But so far, with the C being neutralized and soon captured, AF Academy looked pretty comfortable thus far.
Look how smart this is for FaZe Academy. You're looking at Gravity sitting in the boxes. He reads that his teammates are spawning out. So what does he do? He runs away from the A flag until he's got a little bit of help. And who's here? It's Journey. He finds 1. Gravity reshells for 2 more. And now there's potential. I don't know if the FaZe know it yet, but they can get themselves a triple cap here. Just like that. What a smart play from Gravity. Massive IQ. He's on 3 straight. And just like that, it was a small moment of triple cap. But from here, spawn's getting a little bit wacky and wild. What do you do from here if you're FaZe Academy? They have 1 player neutralizing C, but at the moment, it looks like they will lose the B flag.
They're going to lose the B flag, but they had to pull Rex back, UYU did, to get C back into their home flag territory. Which means that the spawns coming through from AF Academy over by the coal mines means that they start pushing forward. They get the kills. They're going to start working the neutralization as well. Jimbo for 2 heads down. Very unfortunate if you're a UYU fan, but Jimbo has been having themselves a series. Infamous try to march their way back. They're almost alone here. They have to wait for Pentagram to find 1, and they do inside the boiler room. This pinch is going to be huge.
Trophy system in a very good spot here, though, for FaZe Academy outside the boiler. Journey, he just puts his gun down for a split second. Infamous is able to come through and take care of the other, and UYU, that's 4 down. Looking for the 5th, they take down Gravity. Here comes the flip of the B flag. Where do you go from here? Look at this, though, in the minimap, no one is back towards C. So if they go too far forward here, FaZe Academy might just spawn out by the munitions depot. So if you're UYU, you got to commit to this. If you're going to go for an A flip, you've got to go now. And how about this? It's a 50-50 spawn. It's FaZe Academy spawning towards the water tower and UYU spawning on the backside of the munitions depot. They don't break through A. They don't flip the spawns. And not only did they lose the B flag, but they never were able to secure the A flag either.
Sarlo's gonna get a kill here, is able to get the shots down onto Spark. That is a much needed kill. Though on the other side, you see the player up in the very power positioning on the other side of Dark is gonna be right there. It's gonna be Journey along with Jimbo to help out the cause. Jimbo now for 4 straight in this life is at 8 and 6. What a power position here inside the server room is now being able to rotate the shots. Can't find it though. It's Infamous that comes out on top of that one. But look at the damage and how much is done. And yes, it is just under a 20-point lead for AF Academy, but the map control so far for AF Academy is absolutely pristine.
Oh, and again, look at AF Academy. They're sending one player all the way back to the A flag, knowing that, hey, we want to spawn here. Let's let our guns move on forward while making sure that we're securing our spawns. That's the biggest thing. So for AF Academy, it all comes down to finding a couple of 1v1s in your favor, and then maybe you push up the map. They're going to get traded out, and just like that, here comes the player sitting back spawn to make sure he's holding onto the A flag from getting pushed up. That's Jimbo. He'll find one. Has an opportunity for a second, but gets pinched up a touch. But it's okay because FaZe Academy, what they wanted was to make sure they had a safe place to spawn. And, well, it's looking as safe as ever as they will spawn up right in the backside of that warehouse, come through, clean up the pressure at A. And all the meantime, UYU never touched the B flag.
And you still have a solo player pushed up very far all by themselves. So this time it's going to be Ruiz. Does not play out their life, will be gunned down. Rex was able to find 2, able to trade on back, so it needs to be turned into map pressure. Infamous in a very good spot. We talk about this boiler room. It is a Covenant location for an MP5 to find value. UYU able to get some kills. They're working their way on to B. It is neutralized here, shift. They are still holding on to C. The spawns coming in the back of P5 for AF Academy. They are starting to flood back in through, in around. There's a player that spawned on the other side of train cars, able to go down. Ruiz able to find 2. The trades are coming through, however. They have yet not captured B, and there it is. A CV hold so far, but only 10 seconds remaining when they got that capture to come on through. Much needed points regardless heading into the second half.
I mean, it's Sib 13 and 6, so 12 and 9 for both Jimbo and Journey. And, well, Spart is up there as well. And we talked about what needed to change here. UYU needed to find a response. You needed more than just Rex and Zyral to have a map. And so far, it's just been the 2 of them top performing.
Yeah.
As Journey, Jimbo, and the rest of the gang have looked so good so far for FaZe Academy. Up now 26 points. And Gravity also at 11 and 7, just locking down lines of sight. And I mean, look at the other side. Pentagram 6 and 13, Ruiz 6 and 11, Infamous 8 and 11. Not the worst stat lines in the world, but again, you take a look also at the captures. A lot more tallied up for FaZe Academy.
It's just like what Tom was saying in the half when we're talking about names for AF Academy. Look at the names that we're still talking about for UYU. Zyral and Rex leading their team in kills. They need some help. Ruiz and Pentagram get gunned down immediately, but Ruiz finds the first kill in the trade. Rex on top of B will start trying their best to get this capture in their favor, but it's Spart that answers on back. Remaining members coming in off spawn from UYU have a very good power position over top of these coal mines. Pentagram doing what MP5s need to do, controlling this boiler room. Good clean wipe almost coming through from UYU. Gravity trying their best to turn this back into their own. However, Spart, upon re-entry, will be gunned down, and it's going to be a very good AB hold thus far for UYU. And if they want to try to turn this around, they have to get aggressive early, and they have to maintain 2 flags for the majority of this entire round.
Look how much respect is being paid, though, to AF from the side of UYU. They're not pushing out of B. They're not getting the staircase control. They're not getting the control into the boiler room into their favor. They're just kind of sitting on top of the B flag, waiting for someone to make a play. Rex will finally turn the tides and make a move towards the C flag. Doesn't track down Jimbo from behind, and Jimbo will actually find a second. So again, mid-map pressure, all in favor of FaZe Academy. They can make the play. Do they want to go for an A neutralization? Do they want to try to cut through the middle and go towards B? So far, again, you take a look. Infamous trying to work through the vent, but it's Journey who's all the way in the back from the cold cards, zoning off everybody from spawn. Jimbo's right there with him, and what a smart play again for Atlanta FaZe Academy. They don't have the numbers to flip B. They don't have the numbers to neutralize A. So what do? You set yourself up and you let Jimbo do things like this. He's able to find himself. 6 will eventually be shut down, but here comes the reinforcements and the cavalry. They will flip over the A flag to a neutralization, if not potentially a triple cap as we get close to our 4th quarter.
And they get the spawns to flip as well, Shift. Look at that. Now going to be a very good AB hold, and it's going to be scouted out by AF Academy. Look at them turning around now, looking at the train cars, expecting this to come through. The flips coming through. AB now for AF Academy. C is the only flag in the name for UYU. Almost a clean wipe coming through yet again. It's Rex that was last to fall there. AF Academy just turning up the heat ever so slightly. Spartan now going off on a tear.
Man.
Will be put to rest by Infamous on that life. But my God, is the map pressure just so crazy good from AF Academy. When they recognize that there is blood in the water, they sniff it out immediately, and they do not stop.
5 straight for Sib, putting himself on the C flag, coming to help Gravity, who doesn't need it, looking for another, won't have it, but now Gravity's putting himself together a couple of kills. Lines up the double headshot before he gets shut down, but I mean, again, there's just nowhere for UYU to go. Entering into our 4th quarter, it's about a 40-point game, which means mathematically there's going to have to be a triple cap here in the near future for UYU, plus a significant amount of time where they're holding a 2 capture plus a neutralization. And unless the kill feed starts to swing in their favor, you don't see a world where that's going to be allowed to exist. 21-9 for Rex, who eventually gets shut down off 4 straight. He's trying his darndest to pull his team into this one. Zyral as well, 20-17. It's just not enough when nearly everybody on FaZe Academy have surpassed the 20-point kill mark.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Spart that's having a quiet hardpoint ice, I would say, comparatively to what we saw, or domination, excuse me, comparatively to what we saw all the rest of the series here shift. But AF Academy as a whole, all 5 of these players highlighting themselves ever so wonderfully. Mathematically impossible. How about an almost triple cap to come through? The neutralization goes on to B, won't be able to come out on C as the stuns come through for UYU.
God,
Jimbo
Sib.
and Sib able to get the team shots necessary. What an assertive wipe coming through AF Academy. The aggressors from Atlanta turning it up and able to put UYU right to bed. Bracket reset in all shift. This is all put to rest. AF Academy came to play in this grand finals.
Yeah, mathematically impossible. Time of death was around 1:30 left to play. And well, for AF Academy, talk about throwing down a giant exclamation mark on this reset. It's gonna be a 3-0 on the reset after they were able to take 3 of the 4 that were needed in the first set. That's, I mean, again, 6 maps straight for AF Academy in the grand finals. You talk about them just learning, adapting, finding a way to play together.
God.
And goodness gracious, everybody besides Spart able to go above 20 kills. You can actually see Sim on your screen. He's still playing. He wants more kills. Give it to him. 3 seconds left.
Off the stats.
That will absolutely get it done. FaZe Academy will be your champions of the Atlanta Challengers Open bracket. Of course, happening just this past weekend, but do it out of the losers bracket and are able to take down UYU in a total map count of 6-1.
Absolutely impressive. You go to map 4 in the first grand finals, and then you go in 3-0 in the second part of the grand finals. Even when they were coming from a loser side shift, it doesn't even matter. Atlanta just turn up the heat. You go back to the winner's semi. That went to 5. You talk about adaptation. You talk about grit. And you talk about sheer perseverance. Atlanta were able to show that all the way through the grand finals, and boy, howdy, did they look on fire in this second set. My God.
This is terrifying.
Yeah, it is. Nothing right nightmares out here.
For Spartan Sib, again, newer to the scene here. Sib, brand new to the scene. This is his first real professional attempt when it comes to playing on the challengers level, the Path to Pro level, having a standout performance with Spart as well. Of course, he played on Rich and Lonely at Minnesota with Parasite and those guys and had a great showcase there. There's really nobody you can't talk about with this roster because Gravity and Journey, the 2 substitutes playing on 2-way contracts for FaZe, looked great. And Jimbo, as he typically does, he was, we're going to see him, I think, again at Ashoni. He was the previous Ashoni MVP. Again, showcasing that he's having himself a very magical year so far. So for this FaZe Academy squad, they make a handful of swap-ups on their roster, and it seems like so far every single one of the new pieces are absolutely completing the puzzle that is the FaZe Academy team.
Absolutely impressive to be able to see a multitude of duos going forward. We call them the J doubles coming through, whatever you may want to call them. That's something you have to be scary about. The OE control coming through, not to mention the isolated 1v1s that we're able to come out on top of for all these players. Spart having themselves a time. We talk about the 2-way contracted players coming through for Gravity and Journey. Hopefully by the end of this, you're talking a little bit more to go along with Jimbo and Spart. Those players are absolutely terrifying when they're feeling the hot hand, and they have the map terrain to be able to waltz on through to boot.
Well, Tom, it looks like you posed up the question of would we come back to see a map 4, or maybe even see a map 5? The answer would be pretty convincingly no. Just a 3-0 for us here.
Yeah, pretty much. You guys are just proper about guys, right? You like football at all?
Me, myself, I'm more of a baseball kind of guy. Now, do I watch football? Absolutely.
Okay, then how about we call him JJ Watt? Because you're always saying what after they do it? Yeah?
I like this.
Yeah?
I like this.
I like that.
Yeah?
Smart man.
Thank you, man. My PayPal's linked below. Thank you so much, though. It's been a fantastic look. Honestly, listen, this is how we do. Like I said, I'm New York in my blood, but I've been an ATLian for 5 straight years, and you win 5, 6 straight games. That's how you bring it home. How many other teams are going to do this at their homestand? I think that's really fun, right? You do Atlanta FaZe Academy wins in Atlanta. That's a Matt Christopher book, right? Like that's how you write that up and put it down.
Well, I mean, not only that, of course, their pro team also took away the Atlanta FaZe homestand. So it was a 2-for-1 special if you were an Atlanta fan this weekend.
That's what I'm saying. Really, really fun stuff. Do you want to even in those rough games, like even in the ones where they get blown out of the water, we mentioned Rex and Zyral. Even in those last ones, Rex was still struggling. Zyral, though, got an eye on him. That's a player that absolutely continues to kind of find it. So we'll have to keep an eye on UYU for sure. But this one, a long one, the full bracket reset, UYU only taking one last licks. What do you guys highlights? What are you thinking? How was the show?
For me, I mean, this was just monumental beyond belief. You already said it, right? You couldn't have run a better script. You couldn't have cut it out of marble even more so beautifully. I mean, winning in your hometown, when all the odds were stacked against you, through losers, a bracket reset, all those maps in sequence, only losing one map, that is your cave. Forget about it. That's absolutely monumental for Atlanta. And when you're looking at this Academy team going forward into whatever Challenger series that they walk into next, you have to be very afraid. You have to be afraid of this pace because all the way up to the pro scene, Shift, Tom, you know as well as I do, the team that plays out the fastest and can turn that fast pace and turn their life from 1 and trade it out for 3, sometimes 4, typically comes out on top.
Yeah, I think for me, there's going to be a lot of movement, I feel like, in a lot of these CDL teams that are not performing very well right now. And I think that players like Spart, like Sib, like Rex and Zyral, they all have some discussion, I imagine, in the near future coming when it comes to potentially being brought up as a substitute on one of these rosters. Of course, Gravity and Journey are already there, but it's just one of those things that they were my top performers for sure. Jimbo, you can't leave him out of the conversation either. He had a masterful performance. It just comes down to what happens next for these guys, regardless of what happens above them when it comes to the pro level. I hope that both teams really do stay together and have a way to kind of battle up and get more tested when it comes to some of these maps that they were not so comfortable on, because LA will have another Challengers event. And then, like you mentioned at the top of the broadcast there, Tom, both Chicago and Dallas just recently announced that their Challengers events will have a pretty massive prize pool with it as well. $25,000 for each of them. A lot of money to be played for, and I think that both of these teams have a lot going for them right now.
It's pretty huge. Tickets are on sale right now for the Chicago and the Dallas match. This weekend will be Paris. There's a Challengers Open there. And then next weekend, LA, baby, sunny skies and palm trees. A Challengers Open at that one as well. So join in with your friends and make sure you can get in the game, because that's how you wind up on this stage, and that's how you wind up on the big stage. Boys, it's been a pleasure. It's been a lot of fun kind of watching these guys. Like we said, Atlanta kind of took it home all weekend, so great look there. Thank you guys so much for watching, everybody all out in the audience, and of course, everybody at home. It's been a lot of fun. Proper Shift, the boys behind the curtain, and of course, people in chat. We appreciate you. We'll catch you next time.
Some form of control still, making our constant binary choices and voicing our equally shallow opinions more loudly or quietly. Most people can't even decide what color to wear or which burger to eat. What does it matter, man?